Blockchain's role in green supply chains. Olubusayo O. Aina, Ph.D. Table of Content. 1. Introduction. 2. Introduction, the urgency of green supply chains. 3. Blockchain technology, principles and evolution. 4. The environmental imperative in global trade. 5. Traditional supply chain challenges. 6. Traceability of raw materials. 7. Carbon footprint tracking. 8. Smart contracts for sustainable sourcing. 9. Auditing and compliance with green standards. 10. Agriculture and food supply chains. 11. Renewable energy and power distribution. 12. Fashion and ethical manufacturing. 13. Electronics and rare earth minerals. 14. Logistics and transportation. 15. Healthcare and pharmaceuticals. 16. Automotive and electric vehicles. 17. Construction and real estate. 18. Food retail and consumer goods. 19. Fashion and textiles. 20. Electronics and e-waste. 21. Agriculture and forestry. 22. Energy and utilities. 23. Waste management and circular economy. 24. Shipping and maritime logistics. 25. Aviation and aerospace. 26. Retail and consumer goods. 27. Finance and investment. 28. Insurance and risk management. 29. Public policy and governance. 30. Global collaboration and partnerships. 31. Education and workforce development. 32. Blockchain and emerging technologies. 33. Risks, limitations, and ethical considerations. 34. Conclusion and roadmap. Introduction. Every product we touch, the food on our table, the phone in our pocket, the clothes we wear, has a story. That story begins in a farm, a factory, or a mine, and winds its way through ships, trucks, warehouses, and retailers before reaching us. Hidden in that journey are some of the most pressing challenges of our time: carbon emissions, resource depletion, labor exploitation, and waste. Global supply chains are the lifeblood of modern economies, but they are also among the largest contributors to climate change and environmental degradation. They account for more than 80% of global trade and nearly 2/3 of greenhouse gas emissions in many industries. As the world pushes toward sustainability, supply chains sit at the crossroads of opportunity and responsibility. At the same time, trust in sustainability claims is eroding. Consumers are asking tough questions. Was this cotton shirt really grown sustainably? Was this cobalt for my smartphone mined ethically? Is this carbon-neutral product truly offsetting emissions, or is it just clever marketing? The rise of greenwashing, unverified or misleading environmental claims, has made transparency more important than ever. This is where blockchain enters the conversation. Known widely as the backbone of cryptocurrencies, blockchain is in fact much more: a decentralized, tamper-resistant system of record-keeping that can track and verify information across complex networks. In the context of green supply chains, blockchain offers something revolutionary: the ability to make sustainability claims transparent, traceable, and trustworthy. Imagine a world where a consumer scans a QR code on a chocolate bar and sees verified data about where the cocoa was grown, whether the farmers were paid fairly, and the carbon footprint of its journey. A manufacturer can instantly prove that the aluminum in its products was sourced from low-carbon smelters. A logistics company can show regulators a live, blockchain-secured record of emissions from every truck in its fleet. A farmer in Kenya, a factory in Vietnam, and a retailer in Germany all interact on a single platform that rewards sustainable practices with tokens or credits. This is not science fiction. Around the world, pioneering companies, governments, and nonprofits are already experimenting with blockchain solutions that could transform how supply chains operate. From IBM's Food Trust tracking lettuce shipments to startups using blockchain for carbon markets and recycling, the seeds of a more sustainable, transparent economy are being planted. But the path forward is not without obstacles. Blockchain faces real challenges, from energy use and scalability to governance, privacy, and the risk of excluding smaller players. If misapplied, it could deepen inequalities or even worsen environmental impacts. The question is not just can blockchain be applied to green supply chains, but how should it be applied responsibly? This book takes you on that journey. Over the chapters that follow, we will explore the fundamentals of blockchain and its environmental promise, how blockchain is being applied across industries, food, fashion, electronics, energy, and logistics, the role of blockchain in verifying carbon footprints, enabling circular economies, and building consumer trust, the risks, limitations, and ethical dilemmas of blockchain adoption, real-world case studies, and forward-looking roadmaps for global collaboration. Our goal is not to paint blockchain as a miracle solution, but to examine where it truly adds value, where caution is needed, and how it can contribute to building a global economy that is not only efficient but also ethical, inclusive, and sustainable. If supply chains are the bloodstream of the global economy, then transparency is its oxygen, and blockchain, perhaps, is the set of lungs it needs to breathe in a new, greener future. Chapter 1. Introduction: The Urgency of Green Supply Chains. 1.1 The Changing Global Context. Over the last 2 decades, the world has witnessed a growing awareness of the environmental consequences of industrial activity. Supply chains, once viewed primarily as engines of efficiency and profit, have now become focal points in discussions on climate change, resource depletion, and ecological degradation. Nearly 80% of global trade flows through supply chains, which means that decisions about raw material extraction, manufacturing, packaging, logistics, and disposal collectively determine humanity's environmental footprint. Climate reports consistently highlight that without major interventions in the way global goods are produced and delivered, international commitments such as the Paris Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, will remain out of reach. In this context, the concept of green supply chains, those designed with sustainability, efficiency, and social responsibility in mind, has moved from a niche priority to a global imperative. 1.2 Why green supply chains matter. Green supply chains are not simply about reducing emissions or recycling waste. They represent a holistic transformation of industrial ecosystems. At their core, they aim to reduce environmental impact through cleaner production, efficient transportation, and circular design. Enhance social responsibility by ensuring ethical sourcing, safe labor conditions, and community protection. Maintain economic viability by balancing sustainability with cost efficiency and competitiveness. Global brands are increasingly judged not only on the quality of their products, but also on the integrity of their supply chains. Consumers, investors, and regulators alike demand transparency. Where did this product come from? Was it ethically produced? What is its carbon footprint? These questions have shifted from the periphery to the center of modern commerce. 1.3 The role of technology in enabling change. While the urgency of green supply chains is clear, implementing them poses a formidable challenge. Traditional supply chains are notoriously opaque and fragmented, often involving dozens of intermediaries across multiple continents. Manual record-keeping, paper-based auditing, and siloed data systems make it difficult to track environmental and social compliance across all tiers of production. This is where digital technologies step in. Innovations such as IoT sensors, AI-driven analytics, and blockchain provide tools to reimagine the flow of goods, information, and trust. Among these, blockchain has emerged as particularly promising, thanks to its ability to create tamper-proof records, decentralized verification, and real-time visibility across supply networks. 1.4 The promise of blockchain. Blockchain, often associated with cryptocurrencies, is far more than a financial technology. At its core, it is a distributed ledger system that enables secure, transparent, and immutable recording of transactions. For supply chains, this means that every step, from raw material sourcing to final delivery, can be logged, verified, and audited without reliance on a single central authority. When applied to green supply chains, blockchain offers the ability to prove that raw materials were ethically sourced, certify that production processes met environmental standards, track carbon emissions across the entire life cycle of a product, incentivize sustainable practices through token-based reward systems. By embedding trust into the very architecture of supply chains, blockchain reduces the need for costly and inefficient third-party verification, while giving all stakeholders, from suppliers to consumers, confidence in the sustainability claims made. 1.5 Key drivers of the transition. Several forces are accelerating the shift toward blockchain-enabled green supply chains. Consumer demand for transparency. Surveys show that a majority of consumers prefer brands with verifiable commitments to sustainability. Regulatory pressure. Governments worldwide are enacting stricter carbon reporting, waste reduction, and ethical sourcing laws. Investor expectations. Environmental, social, and governance (ESG) metrics are becoming central to capital allocation. Corporate responsibility. Multinational corporations are setting ambitious net zero and circular economy goals, requiring technological innovation to monitor and achieve them. Technological maturity. Blockchain platforms are now more scalable, interoperable, and cost-effective than in their early stages. 1.6 The structure of this book. This book is designed to provide a comprehensive exploration of how blockchain can revolutionize green supply chains. Part 1 lays the foundation, introducing blockchain principles, the environmental imperative, and the challenges of conventional supply chains. Part 2 examines blockchain's role in ensuring transparency, traceability, and compliance. Part 3 dives into sector-specific applications, from agriculture to logistics. Part 4 addresses governance, regulations, and policy frameworks. Part 5 explores real-world case studies and emerging trends. Part 6 concludes with reflections on the opportunities, challenges, and pathways ahead. 1.7 Conclusion. A defining opportunity. The urgency of building green supply chains cannot be overstated. Climate change, biodiversity loss, and resource depletion are not distant threats. They are present realities shaping economies and societies today. Blockchain, as part of a larger technological toolkit, offers a defining opportunity to align commerce with sustainability. The question is no longer if green supply chains will become the norm, but how quickly industries can adopt the technologies, practices, and governance structures needed to realize them. In that transition, blockchain is poised to play a pivotal role. Chapter 2. Blockchain Technology, Principles and Evolution. 2.1 Introduction. To understand blockchain's transformative potential in green supply chains, it is essential first to grasp its underlying principles. Blockchain is often misunderstood as a synonym for cryptocurrency, but in reality, it is a foundational digital infrastructure capable of supporting a wide variety of applications beyond finance. At its core, blockchain is a system that provides decentralized trust in a digital environment. It ensures that records of transactions or events are accurate, tamper-resistant, and transparent, without relying on a single central authority. This simple yet revolutionary concept has profound implications for supply chains, which have long struggled with issues of opacity, inefficiency, and mistrust. 2.2 The origins of blockchain. Pre-blockchain roots, distributed systems, and cryptography. Blockchain did not emerge in isolation. It is the product of decades of advances in computer science. Early work in distributed systems laid the foundation for decentralized networks, where multiple nodes could share and synchronize data without a central server. At the same time, developments in cryptography, particularly hash functions, digital signatures, and public-private key encryption, made secure communication and authentication possible. By the late 20th century, researchers began experimenting with concepts of digital money and peer-to-peer systems. Projects such as DigiCash and BitGold introduced ideas that would later inspire Bitcoin, the first widely adopted blockchain application. The Bitcoin Revolution, 2008. The blockchain era officially began in 2008, when an individual or group using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto published the white paper, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. This paper proposed a digital currency that operated without banks, governments, or intermediaries. The genius of Bitcoin lay not only in its cryptocurrency design, but in the blockchain architecture underpinning it. A chain of blocks of transactions linked cryptographically. A consensus mechanism, proof of work, that secured the system. A decentralized, peer-to-peer network that eliminated the need for trust in any single authority. Bitcoin proved that blockchain could solve the double spending problem, preventing digital assets from being copied or spent twice without relying on centralized oversight. From Bitcoin to Ethereum and beyond. While Bitcoin demonstrated blockchain's feasibility, its scope was narrow, focused primarily on currency. In 2015, Ethereum expanded blockchain's horizons by introducing smart contracts, programmable agreements that execute automatically when predefined conditions are met. This innovation transformed blockchain into a platform for decentralized applications, DApps, across industries, from finance to logistics. Since then, numerous other blockchain platforms have emerged: Hyperledger, Corda, Tezos, Solana, each designed with different features such as scalability, privacy, or governance. Importantly, enterprise-oriented blockchains have been developed specifically to support supply chain applications, where transaction volume and data privacy are critical. 2.3 Core Principles of Blockchain. Understanding blockchain's mechanics is essential to see why it holds such promise for supply chain sustainability. The key principles include decentralization. Unlike traditional databases maintained by a single organization, a blockchain is distributed across a network of nodes. Each participant maintains a copy of the ledger, making the system resilient to single points of failure and reducing dependence on intermediaries. Immutability. Once data is recorded on the blockchain, it cannot be altered retroactively without consensus from the majority of the network. This property creates tamper-proof audit trails, ensuring the integrity of supply chain records. Transparency and traceability. Transactions on public blockchains are visible to all participants, creating unprecedented transparency. Even in private or permissioned blockchains, visibility rules can be set to allow stakeholders to verify data without exposing sensitive information. Consensus mechanisms. To validate transactions and add them to the chain, participants must agree through a consensus mechanism. The most common include proof of work, POW, energy-intensive, used by Bitcoin. Proof of stake, POS, energy-efficient, increasingly adopted. Practical Byzantine fault tolerance, PBFT, often used in private enterprise blockchains for faster performance. These mechanisms eliminate the need for centralized trust, ensuring agreement across distributed participants. Smart contracts. Smart contracts are self-executing code stored on the blockchain. They enable automated enforcement of agreements without intermediaries. In a green supply chain context, a smart contract could automatically release payment when a supplier provides proof of sustainable certification. 2.4 Evolution of blockchain generations. Blockchain 1.0, digital currency. The first generation of blockchain, Bitcoin and similar systems, focused almost exclusively on cryptocurrency transactions. Its relevance to supply chains was limited, but it laid the groundwork for decentralized trust. Blockchain 2.0, smart contracts and platforms. Ethereum introduced the second generation, where programmable logic expanded blockchain's utility. This is the phase in which supply chain applications began to appear, particularly for traceability and certification. Blockchain 3.0, scalability, interoperability, and sustainability. The third generation aims to solve earlier limitations, namely scalability, energy consumption, and cross-chain communication. Innovations like proof-of-stake, sharding, and sidechains are making blockchain more practical for global supply chains. Critically, the focus has also shifted toward making blockchain itself more environmentally sustainable, reducing the contradiction of using energy-intensive systems for green applications. 2.5 Blockchain in the context of supply chains. Supply chains require systems that can track products across multiple jurisdictions, verify authenticity of certifications, e.g., organic, fair trade, carbon neutral, ensure compliance with environmental regulations, build trust among diverse stakeholders. Traditional enterprise resource planning (ERP) systems and databases provide some of these functions, but they are often centralized, siloed, and vulnerable to manipulation. Blockchain provides a shared, trusted source of truth, a feature particularly crucial when multiple stakeholders with conflicting interests are involved. 2.6 Challenges and criticisms. Despite its potential, blockchain is not a magic solution. Several challenges must be acknowledged. Energy consumption. Early blockchains like Bitcoin consume enormous energy, raising questions about their environmental sustainability. Scalability. Large volumes of supply chain transactions demand high throughput, which many blockchains struggle to provide. Regulation and governance. The legal status of blockchain records varies across jurisdictions, complicating adoption. Interoperability. Multiple blockchain platforms exist, but they are not always compatible, leading to fragmentation. Adoption costs. Small suppliers in developing regions may lack the resources to implement blockchain systems. These limitations must be carefully addressed if blockchain is to achieve its full potential in sustainable supply chains. 2.7 Conclusion. Blockchain has evolved from an experimental technology supporting cryptocurrency into a versatile infrastructure with transformative potential across industries. Its principles, decentralization, immutability, transparency, and programmability, align directly with the needs of sustainable supply chains, where trust, traceability, and accountability are paramount. However, blockchain's story is still being written. Its adoption in green supply chains will depend on overcoming challenges of scalability, regulation, and accessibility. As the technology matures, it will increasingly serve not as a standalone innovation, but as part of a broader digital ecosystem alongside IoT, AI, and big data analytics. The next chapter will examine the environmental imperative driving supply chain transformation, setting the stage for how blockchain and other technologies can address one of the greatest challenges of our time: balancing commerce with planetary stewardship. Chapter 3. The environmental imperative in global trade. 3.1 Introduction. Global trade is the engine of modern economies, but it also carries a heavy environmental cost. The supply chains that move raw materials, components, and finished goods across continents consume vast amounts of energy, emit greenhouse gases, generate waste, and place strain on ecosystems. In the 21st century, supply chain sustainability is no longer a niche concern of activists and specialized industries. It has become a mainstream business, regulatory, and societal priority. As climate change accelerates, biodiversity collapses, and natural resources grow scarcer, the question confronting governments, corporations, and consumers alike is not whether to green supply chains, but how urgently and comprehensively to act. Blockchain is one of the tools that can support this transition, but to appreciate its value, we must first understand the scale and nature of the environmental crisis that global trade contributes to. 3.2 The environmental footprint of supply chains. Carbon emissions. Supply chains are responsible for an estimated 60 to 70% of global greenhouse gas emissions. From the extraction of raw materials to the shipping of finished products, energy-intensive processes are embedded at every stage. Manufacturing relies on fossil fuel-based electricity. Global logistics depend heavily on diesel trucks, cargo ships, and airplanes. Packaging and storage add further layers of energy consumption. If global supply chains were treated as a single entity, they would rank among the largest emitters of carbon dioxide worldwide. Resource depletion. Modern supply chains depend on vast quantities of natural resources, timber, metals, fossil fuels, water, and rare earth minerals. The linear take-make-dispose model extracts finite resources at unsustainable rates, often without regard to long-term ecological consequences. Mining, deforestation, and industrial agriculture, driven by global trade demand, are among the leading causes of environmental degradation. 3.2.3 Waste generation. Consumer goods supply chains generate mountains of waste through packaging, manufacturing byproducts, and short product life cycles. Electronics are a particularly stark example. Over 50 million tons of e-waste are produced annually, much of it shipped to developing countries without adequate recycling infrastructure. Biodiversity loss. From palm oil plantations destroying rainforests to overfishing driven by global seafood markets, supply chains are directly implicated in biodiversity loss. The homogenization of agriculture, unsustainable extraction of natural resources, and pollution of ecosystems are all tied to global trade flows. 3.3 Global agreements and commitments. The recognition of supply chain impacts has fueled numerous international frameworks designed to align commerce with environmental protection. The Paris Agreement. Adopted in 2015, the Paris Agreement set a global goal to limit warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, aiming for 1.5 degrees Celsius. Since supply chains contribute the majority of corporate emissions, decarbonizing them is a critical requirement for countries and companies to meet their nationally determined contributions, NDCs. The UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Several SDGs intersect directly with supply chains, including Goal 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. Goal 13, Climate Action. Goal 15, Life on Land. Achieving these requires systemic changes in how goods are sourced, produced, transported, and consumed. ESG standards and reporting frameworks. Beyond government agreements, market-driven frameworks such as the Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, TCFD, and Science-Based Targets Initiative, SBTI, compel companies to measure and report environmental impacts. Blockchain has the potential to support these frameworks by providing verifiable, real-time data. 3.4 The business case for green supply chains. While the moral and ecological case is compelling, there is also a strong business case for greening supply chains. Risk management. Climate change introduces supply chain risks, ranging from raw material scarcity to extreme weather disruptions. Companies with unsustainable supply chains face reputational, financial, and operational vulnerabilities. Consumer preferences. Modern consumers are increasingly eco-conscious. Studies show that a significant proportion of buyers, especially millennials and Gen Z, are willing to pay more for sustainable products. Brands with transparent green supply chains build trust and customer loyalty. Investor pressure. Institutional investors now incorporate environmental, social, and governance (ESG) metrics into their portfolios. Companies with opaque or high-carbon supply chains risk losing access to capital, while sustainable leaders attract investment. Efficiency gains. Greening supply chains often leads to cost savings. Energy efficiency, waste reduction, and circular economy strategies can reduce operational costs while cutting emissions. 3.5 Challenges in implementing green supply chains. Despite the urgency and incentives, transitioning to green supply chains is difficult. Complexity and fragmentation. Global supply chains often involve hundreds of suppliers across multiple tiers, making traceability a challenge. Data gaps and greenwashing. Companies may lack reliable data or exaggerate sustainability claims without independent verification. Cost and technology barriers. Small suppliers, especially in developing countries, struggle to meet sustainability standards due to limited resources. Regulatory inconsistency. Environmental regulations vary across jurisdictions, complicating compliance for multinational companies. 3.6 The opportunity for blockchain. Blockchain offers solutions to many of these challenges by enhancing transparency, recording transactions immutably for all stakeholders, providing traceability, tracking materials and products from source to shelf, reducing greenwashing, offering verifiable proof of sustainability claims, automating compliance. Smart contracts can enforce environmental standards. While blockchain is not a silver bullet, its ability to address trust, verification, and accountability makes it particularly suited to the environmental challenges of global trade. 3.7 Conclusion. The environmental imperative in global trade is undeniable. Supply chains, as the circulatory system of the world economy, are both a primary driver of ecological degradation and a primary lever for positive change. Governments, corporations, and consumers are aligned in demanding greener practices, yet implementation remains hindered by complexity, opacity, and mistrust. This is where blockchain technology enters the conversation, not as a replacement for sustainability strategies, but as an enabler of trust and efficiency. By embedding verifiable transparency into global supply chains, blockchain can accelerate the shift from linear, wasteful models to circular, sustainable ones. In the next chapter, we turn to the traditional supply chain challenges in more detail, laying the groundwork for how blockchain specifically addresses them. Chapter 4. Traditional Supply Chain Challenges. 4.1 Introduction. Supply chains have always been complex, spanning multiple geographies, industries, and stakeholders. Historically, the main goal of supply chain management was efficiency, minimizing costs, reducing delays, and maximizing throughput. Sustainability, transparency, and ethical considerations were secondary or absent altogether. As globalization accelerated in the late 20th century, supply chains became longer, more fragmented, and more opaque. This has created not only logistical challenges, but also ethical, environmental, and governance problems. Traditional systems, reliant on siloed databases, paper records, and trust-based contracts, struggle to meet the modern demands of transparency, accountability, and sustainability. Understanding these limitations is essential to see why blockchain is not just a technical upgrade, but a potential paradigm shift for supply chain management. 4.2 Complexity and fragmentation. Global networks of suppliers. Most supply chains today involve dozens, if not hundreds, of suppliers across multiple tiers. A smartphone, for example, may contain components sourced from over 200 suppliers across 40 countries. This fragmentation makes it extremely difficult to trace the origin of materials or verify environmental and social compliance. Multiple stakeholders with diverging interests. Manufacturers, logistics providers, regulators, certification agencies, retailers, and consumers all interact in supply chains, often with conflicting priorities. Traditional systems lack a shared, trusted data infrastructure to coordinate these actors effectively. 4.3 Opaqueness and lack of transparency. Limited visibility beyond Tier 1 suppliers. Most companies have clear information about their immediate, Tier 1 suppliers, but little or no visibility into Tier 2, Tier 3, and beyond. Yet environmental and social risks often lurk in these lower tiers. Raw material extraction, subcontracted labor, and environmentally damaging production practices. Greenwashing and verification challenges. Consumers and regulators demand proof of sustainability, but traditional auditing systems are often flawed. Paper-based certifications can be forged, audits can be manipulated, and data can be selectively reported. This creates opportunities for greenwashing, where companies exaggerate or falsify their environmental achievements. 4.4 Inefficiencies and high costs. Manual and paper-based processes. Even in the digital era, many supply chain processes still rely on physical documents, bills of lading, certificates of origin, customs paperwork. These manual systems create bottlenecks, delays, and opportunities for fraud. Disconnected IT systems. Enterprises often use different ERP, enterprise resource planning systems, logistics software, and databases. These systems are rarely interoperable, leading to fragmented data flows and communication breakdowns. The result is inefficiency and duplication of effort. 4.5 Environmental and social risks. Carbon and resource intensity. As described in Chapter 3, supply chains are a major source of greenhouse gas emissions and resource depletion. Yet traditional management systems provide limited visibility into the carbon footprint of individual products. Companies often lack reliable, granular data to measure and reduce their environmental impacts. Ethical and human rights concerns. Child labor, unsafe working conditions, and human rights violations persist in global supply chains. Traditional oversight mechanisms, audits, third-party certifications, are insufficient to guarantee compliance across sprawling networks of subcontractors. 4.6 Trust deficit among stakeholders. Asymmetry of information. Suppliers often control information about the origin and quality of materials, while buyers lack independent means of verification. This creates mistrust and leads to costly disputes or reliance on intermediaries. Intermediary dependence. To bridge trust gaps, supply chains have historically relied on intermediaries such as certification bodies, banks, or brokers. While useful, these intermediaries add costs, create inefficiencies, and sometimes become points of failure or corruption. 4.7 Regulatory and compliance challenges. Fragmented regulatory landscapes. Supply chains cross borders, each with different environmental laws, trade policies, and reporting requirements. Navigating this fragmented landscape is costly and prone to error. Lack of standardized reporting. Even when regulations exist, reporting frameworks are inconsistent. Companies may report carbon emissions using different metrics, making it hard for regulators, investors, and consumers to compare performance. 4.8 Technological limitations. Legacy systems. Many supply chains still run on outdated IT systems not designed for modern demands like real-time tracking, data sharing, or sustainability reporting. Integration with newer technologies is costly and complex. Cybersecurity risks. As supply chains digitize, they face growing cybersecurity threats. Centralized databases are attractive targets for hackers, raising concerns about data integrity and confidentiality. 4.9 Case example: the 2013 horse meat scandal. A striking example of traditional supply chain challenges was the 2013 horse meat scandal in Europe, where horse meat was found in beef products across multiple retailers. Investigations revealed a highly fragmented supply chain involving numerous intermediaries, poor traceability, and weak verification processes. This scandal highlighted how opaque supply chains can erode consumer trust, damage brand reputations, and expose systemic weaknesses. Had blockchain-based traceability systems been in place, the origin of meat products could have been verified in real time, preventing such widespread fraud. 4.10 Summary of traditional supply chain challenges. In summary, traditional supply chains face a series of interlinked challenges. Complexity and fragmentation create visibility gaps. Lack of transparency enables fraud and greenwashing. Inefficiencies from manual and siloed systems inflate costs. Environmental and social risks remain hidden in lower tiers. Trust deficits force reliance on costly intermediaries. Regulatory inconsistencies complicate compliance. Technological limitations hinder integration and security. These challenges form the backdrop against which blockchain enters the scene. The technology does not eliminate supply chain complexity, but it provides tools to address the core problem of trust and transparency. 4.11 Conclusion. Traditional supply chain systems are ill-equipped to meet the 21st century demands of sustainability, accountability, and global coordination. Their reliance on fragmented data, manual processes, and opaque structures perpetuates inefficiency and risk. As businesses, governments, and consumers push for greener and more responsible practices, the inadequacies of traditional systems become increasingly untenable. This sets the stage for part 2 of this book, where we explore how blockchain directly addresses these weaknesses. In the next chapter, we begin by examining blockchain's role in traceability of raw materials, one of the most urgent priorities for sustainable supply chains. Chapter 5. Traceability of raw materials. 5.1 Introduction. At the heart of sustainable supply chains lies one critical question: where did this product come from? Traceability, the ability to track materials, components, and products from origin to end user, is the foundation of accountability. Without it, claims of ethical sourcing, environmental responsibility, or safety cannot be independently verified. Traditional traceability systems rely on paper records, centralized databases, or fragmented IT systems that stop at Tier 1 suppliers. Blockchain, with its decentralized and immutable ledger, offers a way to establish end-to-end traceability across even the most complex supply chains. In this chapter, we explore why raw material traceability matters, the challenges of current systems, and how blockchain provides a transformative solution. 5.2 Why traceability matters. Ethical sourcing. Raw materials often originate in environments where ethical violations are common. Conflict minerals from regions plagued by armed conflict. Child labor in artisanal mining. Unsafe working conditions in low-cost manufacturing hubs. Consumers and regulators increasingly demand assurance that materials are ethically sourced. Environmental responsibility. Traceability enables companies to monitor the environmental footprint of raw materials. Deforestation linked to palm oil, soy, or timber. Overfishing tied to seafood supply chains. Greenhouse gas emissions in steel or cement production. Without traceability, sustainability certifications are difficult to verify. Product safety and quality. In industries such as food, pharmaceuticals, and electronics, unsafe or counterfeit raw materials can cause health risks and reputational damage. Traceability is critical for recalls, compliance, and consumer protection. 5.3 Traditional traceability challenges. Despite its importance, raw material traceability faces deep-rooted obstacles. Data silos. Suppliers maintain separate records, rarely shared across the chain. Paper-based processes. Manual records are prone to error and fraud. Limited visibility. Companies often cannot see beyond Tier 1 suppliers. Certification fraud. Sustainability certificates are sometimes forged or manipulated. Cost barriers. Small suppliers lack resources to participate in advanced traceability programs. These gaps allow unsustainable practices, greenwashing, and counterfeiting to thrive. 5.4 Blockchain as a traceability solution. Blockchain's core features align perfectly with traceability needs. Immutable audit trails. Each transaction or transfer of raw materials can be logged on a blockchain ledger. Once recorded, it cannot be altered, creating a permanent history of the material's journey. Decentralized data sharing. Blockchain enables suppliers, manufacturers, logistics providers, regulators, and even consumers to access the same trusted dataset without relying on a central authority. Digital identity and tokenization. Raw materials can be assigned unique digital identities or tokens. For example, each batch of coffee beans or kilogram of cobalt can be registered on the blockchain, allowing it to be tracked through every transformation in the supply chain. Integration with IoT and sensors. IoT devices, such as GPS trackers, RFID tags, and environmental sensors, can feed data directly into blockchain systems. This minimizes human error and provides real-time updates on location, temperature, or handling conditions. 5.5 Case Studies in Blockchain-Enabled Traceability. Diamonds and the Kimberley Process. The diamond industry has long been associated with blood diamonds, sourced from conflict zones. Blockchain platforms such as Everledger track diamonds from mine to market, verifying authenticity and ethical sourcing. Each diamond is registered with unique characteristics, cut, color, carat, and stored immutably on the blockchain. Cobalt for electric vehicle batteries. Cobalt, essential for lithium-ion batteries, is often mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo under hazardous and exploitative conditions. Companies like IBM and RCS Global are piloting blockchain systems to trace cobalt from artisanal mines through refiners to electric vehicle manufacturers, ensuring compliance with human rights standards. Food and agriculture. Food traceability is vital for safety and sustainability. Walmart and IBM's Food Trust use blockchain to track produce from farms to shelves. In one pilot, the time required to trace mangoes from farm to store dropped from 7 days to 2.2 seconds. This not only improves recall efficiency, but also reassures consumers about food origins. 5.6 Benefits of blockchain-based traceability. Transparency. All stakeholders can view the same verified information. Trust. Immutable records reduce opportunities for fraud and greenwashing. Efficiency. Automation and real-time tracking reduce delays and paperwork. Compliance. Easier verification of certifications and regulatory standards. Consumer confidence. Brands can provide QR codes or apps that allow customers to trace products themselves. 5.7 Challenges and limitations. Despite its promise, blockchain traceability faces hurdles. Onboarding small suppliers. Many lack digital infrastructure. Data authenticity. Blockchain secures data after entry, but if false data is entered, it becomes immutably wrong. Scalability. High transaction volumes may strain blockchain networks. Standardization. Competing blockchain platforms risk creating fragmented solutions. Solutions include digital literacy training for suppliers, combining blockchain with IoT verification, and building interoperable platforms across industries. 5.8 Future Outlook. As supply chains become more regulated and consumer expectations grow, blockchain-based traceability will likely evolve into a standard industry practice. Integration with AI, IoT, and satellite imaging will enhance data integrity and scalability. Longer term, traceability could enable circular supply chains, where raw materials are continuously tracked and recycled, reducing resource extraction and waste. 5.9 Conclusion. Traceability of raw materials is the foundation of green supply chains. Without it, sustainability claims cannot be verified, and unethical practices remain hidden. Traditional systems fall short, but blockchain offers a powerful tool to create transparent, trustworthy, and efficient traceability networks. By ensuring that materials are responsibly sourced and authentically certified, blockchain empowers businesses, regulators, and consumers to make informed choices, and lays the groundwork for more ethical and sustainable global trade. In the next chapter, we will build on this foundation by exploring blockchain's role in carbon footprint tracking, a critical tool for meeting climate commitments and reducing supply chain emissions. Chapter 6. Carbon Footprint Tracking. 6.1 Introduction. Carbon emissions are the defining metric of sustainability in global trade. Governments, corporations, and consumers are increasingly focused on reducing greenhouse gases, GHGs, but as the saying goes, you can't manage what you don't measure. Tracking carbon footprints across global supply chains is notoriously difficult. Products often cross multiple jurisdictions, pass through dozens of intermediaries, and involve complex processes at every stage. Traditional reporting systems are fragmented, inconsistent, and vulnerable to manipulation. Blockchain offers a way to standardize, secure, and share carbon footprint data, enabling real progress toward decarbonization. 6.2 Why carbon tracking matters. Climate commitments. Governments must meet Paris Agreement targets through emissions reductions. Companies have set net zero pledges, requiring accurate measurement of Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. Investors are pushing for ESG-aligned portfolios, with carbon data at the center. Scope 3 emissions. For most companies, Scope 3 emissions, indirect emissions across supply chains, account for 70 to 90% of total carbon output. Without accurate tracking, corporate climate pledges risk becoming hollow promises. Consumer transparency. Shoppers increasingly want to know the carbon footprint of their purchases, from the miles a product traveled to the energy used in its production. Brands that fail to provide credible information risk losing consumer trust. 6.3 Challenges in traditional carbon accounting. Data fragmentation. Suppliers report emissions using different methods, metrics, or not at all. Self-reporting bias. Companies may underreport or manipulate emissions data to appear greener. Verification gaps. Independent audits are costly, infrequent, and sometimes unreliable. Delayed reporting. Annual sustainability reports do not allow real-time tracking or decision-making. These challenges lead to greenwashing, where companies make unverifiable or exaggerated claims about carbon neutrality. 6.4 Blockchain for carbon footprint tracking. Blockchain can transform carbon accounting by creating a trusted, decentralized emissions ledger. Immutable carbon records. Every step of a product's journey, raw material extraction, processing, transport, storage, can be logged on blockchain. Once recorded, data cannot be tampered with, ensuring credibility. Real-time data integration. IoT sensors and smart meters can automatically feed emissions data into blockchain systems. Fuel consumption in logistics fleets. Energy use in factories. Emissions from shipping vessels. This reduces dependence on manual reporting and increases accuracy. Tokenization of carbon units. Carbon emissions can be represented as digital tokens on blockchain, enabling precise accounting. These tokens can also be offset with carbon credits, which are transparently tracked to avoid double counting. Smart contracts for compliance. Smart contracts can automate enforcement of emissions thresholds. For example, a supplier that exceeds agreed-upon carbon limits may automatically trigger penalties or lose access to green certification. 6.5 Case studies in blockchain-enabled carbon tracking. Energy Web Foundation. The Energy Web blockchain supports renewable energy tracking and carbon accounting. Corporations use it to verify that electricity consumed was sourced from renewables, with immutable certificates stored on-chain. VeChain and fashion industry. Luxury fashion brands are experimenting with VeChain to track product life cycles, including emissions at different production stages. Consumers can scan QR codes to see verified carbon data for individual garments. Shipping and logistics. Shipping giants like Maersk are exploring blockchain platforms to monitor vessel emissions. Integrated with IoT, these systems provide real-time fuel and emissions data, helping companies comply with tightening international maritime standards. 6.6 Benefits of blockchain-based carbon tracking. Accuracy. Reduces reliance on manual reporting and ensures data integrity. Transparency. Allows stakeholders from regulators to consumers to verify emissions claims. Efficiency. Streamlines compliance reporting and reduces audit costs. Accountability. Prevents double counting of carbon credits and offsets. Trust. Builds confidence in corporate climate pledges. 6.7 Limitations and considerations. Data input reliability. Blockchain secures data after entry, but incorrect or manipulated data can still be uploaded. Scalability. High transaction volumes for global carbon tracking may strain some blockchains. Standardization. Multiple accounting frameworks exist, and blockchain systems need to align with global standards. Accessibility. Smaller suppliers may lack the digital infrastructure to participate. Solutions include combining blockchain with satellite monitoring, IoT verification, and AI analytics, as well as capacity-building initiatives for small and medium enterprises. 6.8 The future of carbon tracking. In the coming decade, carbon footprint tracking will likely become mandatory in many jurisdictions. Blockchain can underpin global carbon registries, linking corporate emissions data with government reporting and consumer-facing transparency tools. Integration with carbon markets will also allow seamless trading of verified offsets and credits, while preventing fraud. Over time, carbon tracking will evolve from a compliance obligation to a competitive advantage, distinguishing brands that are truly sustainable from those that only claim to be. 6.9 Conclusion. Carbon footprint tracking is central to green supply chains. Without accurate and transparent data, neither governments nor corporations can deliver on climate commitments. Traditional systems fall short, plagued by fragmentation, bias, and opacity. Blockchain offers a solution: a shared, immutable, and trusted emissions ledger. By integrating with IoT and smart contracts, it can provide real-time, verifiable carbon data, empowering businesses, regulators, and consumers to make informed decisions. In the next chapter, we will explore how blockchain enables smart contracts for sustainable sourcing, automating compliance, and incentivizing greener practices across supply networks. Chapter 7. Smart Contracts for Sustainable Sourcing. 7.1 Introduction. Sourcing decisions are the foundation of supply chains. The environmental and social impacts of a product are often determined long before manufacturing or transportation, at the moment when raw materials and suppliers are chosen. Ensuring that sourcing practices are sustainable has traditionally been a challenge. Contracts, certifications, and audits attempt to enforce environmental and social standards, but they are often slow, costly, and vulnerable to manipulation. Blockchain smart contracts offer a new paradigm: agreements that are self-executing, tamper-proof, and automated. They create an environment where compliance with sustainability criteria is not just promised, but enforced at the technical level. 7.2 What are smart contracts? Smart contracts are computer programs stored on blockchain that automatically execute when predefined conditions are met. Unlike traditional contracts, which require human enforcement, smart contracts run deterministically, ensuring outcomes without intermediaries. For example, a payment is released only if a supplier provides a valid sustainability certificate. A shipment is approved only if its carbon footprint remains below a threshold. A supplier's contract is automatically terminated if human rights violations are reported and verified. These programmable rules embed accountability into supply chains. 7.3 Limitations of traditional sourcing contracts. Manual auditing relies on paper documents and third-party auditors, which can be manipulated. Enforcement delays. Breaches often go unnoticed until long after the fact. Legal complexity. Cross-border enforcement of contracts is slow and costly. Greenwashing risk. Suppliers may claim compliance without verifiable proof. Smart contracts directly address these weaknesses by making compliance machine enforceable. 7.4 Smart Contracts for Sustainability. Automated certification. Suppliers can upload certifications, e.g., organic, fair trade, carbon neutral, to blockchain. Smart contracts verify authenticity and only trigger transactions if certifications are valid and current. Conditional payments. Buyers can structure payments based on sustainability performance. For instance, a premium price may be released if a supplier demonstrates reduced emissions or improved labor practices. Incentivizing green practices. Smart contracts can integrate token-based reward systems. Suppliers earn tokens for verified eco-friendly actions, which can be redeemed or traded. Automated penalties. If a supplier fails to meet sustainability criteria, smart contracts can automatically enforce penalties, reducing payment, revoking access to blockchain networks, or flagging violations for regulators. 7.5 Case Studies. Coffee supply chains. Blockchain pilots in coffee sourcing use smart contracts to ensure farmers are paid premiums only when beans are certified as organic or fair trade. This reduces disputes and builds trust between farmers, cooperatives, and global buyers. Renewable energy certificates. In energy markets, smart contracts verify the origin of renewable energy and automate the trading of renewable energy certificates. This ensures that corporations sourcing green power are actually purchasing verified renewable output. Fashion industry. Brands exploring blockchain in fashion use smart contracts to ensure that suppliers meet standards for sustainable materials, organic cotton, recycled fabrics. Payments are automatically withheld if suppliers fail to provide valid sustainability proof. 7.6 Benefits of smart contracts in sustainable sourcing. Efficiency. Reduces delays in verification and payment. Transparency. Creates a visible record of sustainability compliance. Trust. Removes reliance on intermediaries or unverifiable claims. Scalability. Automates sustainability enforcement across thousands of suppliers. Alignment. Ensures sourcing decisions match corporate sustainability goals. 7.7 Challenges and risks. Oracles and data accuracy. Smart contracts rely on external data, e.g., certifications, sensor readings. If input data is flawed, outcomes will be flawed. Garbage in, garbage out. Rigidity. Smart contracts execute exactly as programmed. Errors or unforeseen situations can create unintended consequences. Legal uncertainty. The enforceability of smart contracts in different jurisdictions is still evolving. Supplier readiness. Small suppliers may lack digital tools to interact with blockchain systems. Hybrid models, combining blockchain with human oversight, IoT verification, and AI-based anomaly detection, can help mitigate these risks. 7.8 Future outlook. Smart contracts will likely evolve into standardized sustainability modules integrated with corporate procurement systems. Companies could choose from contract templates, carbon threshold enforcement, ethical labor compliance, waste reduction incentives to automatically manage supplier relationships. As global regulations tighten, smart contracts could also link directly with government systems, automatically reporting sustainability data to regulators or activating penalties for non-compliance. 7.9 Conclusion. Sustainable sourcing is the cornerstone of green supply chains, but traditional contracts and audits are insufficient to guarantee compliance. Blockchain smart contracts offer a new model, where sustainability standards are programmed directly into the sourcing process. By automating verification, payments, and enforcement, smart contracts reduce the risk of greenwashing, build trust between stakeholders, and create financial incentives for sustainable practices. The next chapter will explore how blockchain further supports sustainability through auditing and compliance with green standards, ensuring that claims and reports are independently verifiable at scale. Chapter 8. Auditing and Compliance with Green Standards. 8.1 Introduction. Green supply chains depend not only on good intentions, but also on credible proof. For companies to demonstrate sustainability, they must comply with environmental standards such as ISO 14001, Environmental Management Systems, Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, SASB, EU Green Deal Regulations, Paris Agreement Targets. Traditionally, compliance is verified through audits, inspections, certifications, and sustainability reports. However, these systems often suffer from opacity, high costs, and manipulation. Blockchain offers a way to revolutionize auditing and compliance by creating transparent, tamper-proof, and real-time verification systems. 8.2 Challenges in traditional green audits. Fragmented reporting. Different suppliers report data in incompatible formats. Manual processes. Paper-based audits are slow, expensive, and error-prone. Delayed verification. Compliance is often confirmed months after violations may have occurred. Greenwashing. Companies exaggerate or falsify compliance, knowing audits may not detect it. Trust deficit. Stakeholders often doubt the authenticity of certifications and sustainability reports. These issues create a credibility gap between corporate sustainability claims and actual environmental impact. 8.3 Blockchain as an auditing tool. Blockchain's characteristics directly address these gaps. Immutable records. Once compliance data, e.g., emissions logs, certification scans, audit results is entered, it cannot be altered. This prevents retroactive manipulation. Shared transparency. All stakeholders, companies, regulators, auditors, and even consumers can access the same trusted records. This eliminates the possibility of selective disclosure. Automated verification with smart contracts. Smart contracts can validate certifications, trigger compliance checks, or flag anomalies automatically. Continuous auditing. Instead of one-off annual audits, blockchain enables real-time auditing through IoT data integration and automated reporting. 8.4 Applications of blockchain in green compliance. Supply chain certifications. Certifications such as Fair Trade, Forest Stewardship Council, FSC, or organic labels can be issued and tracked on blockchain. Fraudulent certificates can no longer circulate undetected. Emissions reporting. Blockchain can standardize carbon reporting across suppliers. Regulators and investors can instantly verify compliance with emissions reduction commitments. Waste and recycling compliance. Governments can use blockchain to monitor waste management and recycling targets. Companies uploading real-time recycling data reduce the risk of underreporting or illegal dumping. ESG auditing. Investors require accurate environmental, social, and governance (ESG) data. Blockchain-enabled ESG audits provide transparent, trusted data streams for investment decisions. 8.5 Case studies. IBM Food Trust and Safety Compliance. Beyond traceability, IBM's Food Trust platform also supports compliance with food safety regulations. By logging all inspection and certification data on-chain, it creates a verifiable audit trail for regulators and retailers. Provenance and consumer goods. UK-based startup Provenance uses blockchain to validate sustainability claims for consumer products. Shoppers can scan product labels to verify certifications and ethical sourcing in real time. Circular economy tracking in the EU. Pilot projects in the European Union use blockchain to track compliance with recycling and circular economy mandates, ensuring manufacturers meet targets for material recovery and reuse. 8.6 Benefits of blockchain-based auditing. Transparency. Eliminates selective disclosure of compliance data. Integrity. Immutable records prevent falsification or retroactive edits. Efficiency. Automates verification, reducing reliance on manual audits. Trust. Strengthens credibility of sustainability reports. Global applicability. Standardized blockchain systems work across borders and industries. 8.7 Challenges and risks. Data entry vulnerability. Incorrect data input remains a challenge. Complexity. Integrating diverse certification schemes into blockchain is technically complex. Cost. Blockchain auditing infrastructure requires investment, which may deter smaller suppliers. Regulatory acceptance. Not all regulators fully recognize blockchain records as legal evidence yet. Solutions include using IoT and satellite verification to improve data accuracy, building interoperable platforms that connect multiple certification systems. Developing public-private partnerships to subsidize costs for small suppliers. 8.8. The future of compliance auditing. As ESG regulations tighten, blockchain will likely evolve into a compliance backbone for global trade. Governments may mandate blockchain-based auditing for high-risk sectors like mining, fashion, or electronics. Auditing could also become consumer-facing, where product QR codes allow end users to check compliance in real time. In the long term, blockchain may converge with AI auditing systems, where smart algorithms detect patterns of non-compliance and flag them automatically. 8.9 Conclusion. Auditing and compliance are the guardrails of green supply chains, ensuring that sustainability commitments are more than marketing claims. Traditional audit systems, however, suffer from inefficiencies, opacity, and manipulation risks. Blockchain offers a transformative alternative: transparent, immutable, and real-time auditing. By standardizing certifications, automating compliance checks, and enabling continuous audits, blockchain builds the trust and accountability necessary for global sustainability. In the next chapter, we shift focus from processes to industries, beginning with how blockchain is applied in agriculture and food supply chains to promote transparency, reduce waste, and ensure sustainable farming practices. Chapter 9. Agriculture and food supply chains. 9.1 Introduction. Agriculture and food systems sustain life, but they also account for 26% of global greenhouse gas emissions, mainly methane, nitrous oxide, and carbon dioxide. 70% of freshwater withdrawals worldwide. 50% of habitable land use, driving deforestation and biodiversity loss. At the same time, food supply chains are highly fragmented. Products pass through farmers, processors, distributors, retailers, and regulators before reaching consumers. This complexity leads to inefficiency, food waste, fraud, and opacity. Blockchain offers a way to create transparent, efficient, and sustainable food systems. By tracking inputs and outputs across the entire chain, it can ensure safety, reduce waste, and promote sustainable farming practices. 9.2 Challenges in agriculture and food supply chains. Traceability gaps. Food fraud is rampant, with counterfeit or mislabeled products costing the industry over $40 billion annually. Consumers often cannot verify where or how food was grown. Food safety risks. Contaminated food can cause major health crises, e.g., E. coli outbreaks. Traditional recalls take days or weeks, prolonging consumer exposure. Sustainability issues. Unsustainable farming drives deforestation, soil degradation, and overuse of fertilizers. Farmers often lack incentives or support to adopt greener practices. Farmer inequality. Smallholder farmers, who produce over 30% of the world's food, often receive the smallest share of profits due to intermediaries. 9.3 Blockchain solutions for agriculture and food. End-to-end traceability. Blockchain creates farm-to-fork transparency. Each stage, cultivation, harvesting, processing, distribution, is logged immutably, allowing instant verification of origin and quality. Example: consumers scanning a QR code on coffee packaging can see the farm where beans were grown, the certification of fair trade practices, and the carbon footprint of transport. Food safety and recalls. By recording each handoff on blockchain, food recalls become almost instantaneous. Instead of recalling all spinach nationwide, retailers can pinpoint the exact batch and farm in seconds. Fair compensation for farmers. Smart contracts can automate payments to farmers when sustainability standards are met. This reduces dependence on intermediaries and ensures farmers are rewarded for eco-friendly practices. Sustainable agriculture verification. Blockchain can record data from IoT sensors, soil moisture, pesticide use, carbon sequestration, to verify sustainable farming methods. This data strengthens certifications like organic or regenerative agriculture. 9.4 Case studies. IBM Food Trust, Walmart, Nestlé, Carrefour. IBM Food Trust uses blockchain to trace products like mangoes, pork, and lettuce. Walmart reported that tracing mango origin dropped from 7 days to 2.2 seconds. This system reduces waste, improves food safety, and reassures consumers. Provenance and ethical food. UK-based Provenance works with food companies to log sustainability claims, organic, local sourcing, low carbon, on blockchain, enabling shoppers to verify them instantly. Coffee supply chains, Farmer Connect. Farmer Connect, powered by IBM Blockchain, links coffee growers with consumers. Buyers can scan QR codes to see farmer profiles, while smart contracts ensure farmers are paid fairly and transparently. Fishery transparency, WWF and CBOS. WWF pilots blockchain for tuna supply chains to combat illegal fishing. Each catch is recorded and tracked, helping consumers avoid pirate fish and supporting marine conservation. 9.5 Benefits of blockchain in agriculture and food. Transparency builds trust with consumers and regulators. Safety reduces foodborne illness risk through rapid recalls. Sustainability verifies eco-friendly farming and fishing practices. Equity ensures fairer value distribution for smallholder farmers. Market differentiation brands can stand out with verifiable green claims. 9.6 Challenges and barriers. Adoption by small farmers. Many lack digital tools or internet access. Data verification. Blockchain ensures integrity after entry, but false data can still be uploaded. Costs. Implementing blockchain infrastructure may be expensive for developing economies. Standardization. Multiple competing platforms may fragment adoption. 9.7 The future of blockchain in food systems. Over time, blockchain may integrate with precision agriculture, IoT, and AI. Sensors tracking soil and water use feeding data directly to blockchain. AI analyzing sustainability metrics for automated certification. Governments mandating blockchain-based traceability for imports and exports. In the longer term, blockchain could underpin circular food systems, tracking food waste, redistributing surplus, and ensuring nutrients are recycled into regenerative farming. 9.8 Conclusion. Agriculture and food are central to human well-being and environmental sustainability. Traditional supply chains suffer from inefficiency, opacity, and inequity, but blockchain offers a powerful alternative. By ensuring transparency, safety, fairness, and sustainability, blockchain can help create greener and more resilient food systems. The next chapter will explore blockchain in renewable energy and power distribution, where similar principles of transparency and traceability can accelerate the global energy transition. Chapter 10. Renewable Energy and Power Distribution. 10.1 Introduction. The transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy is the cornerstone of decarbonization. Yet, renewable energy systems introduce new challenges. Intermittency. Solar and wind generation fluctuate. Decentralization. Energy is increasingly produced at small-scale solar rooftops, wind farms, and community grids. Verification. Corporations and governments need proof that their energy truly comes from renewable sources. Distribution inefficiencies. Traditional power grids were built for centralized plants, not distributed renewables. Blockchain provides a foundation for transparent, decentralized, and efficient energy distribution networks. 10.2 Challenges in traditional energy systems. Opaque certification of green energy. Renewable energy certificates, RECs, are often traded on opaque markets. Double counting and fraud are common. Inefficiency in distribution. Centralized grids struggle to manage distributed renewable inputs. Administrative bottlenecks delay renewable adoption. Exclusion of small producers. Households or communities with solar panels often face barriers to selling excess energy. Carbon tracking gaps. Companies buying green energy often lack verifiable proof of its renewable origin. 10.3 Blockchain Solutions in Energy. Renewable energy certificates on blockchain. Certificates of renewable generation, e.g., 1 megawatt-hour solar, can be issued directly to blockchain, ensuring immutability and preventing double counting. Corporations purchasing RECs can verify them instantly. Peer-to-peer energy trading. Blockchain enables households and businesses to trade excess energy directly with peers, bypassing intermediaries. Smart contracts automatically execute payments when energy is delivered. Decentralized microgrids. Community microgrids use blockchain to track generation, distribution, and consumption. This allows remote villages or urban neighborhoods to self-manage energy sustainably. Carbon footprint auditing. Blockchain logs emissions from traditional and renewable sources, enabling real-time monitoring of a grid's carbon intensity. Companies can buy from greener sources with verified proof. 10.4 Case Studies. Power Ledger, Australia. Power Ledger operates blockchain-based energy trading platforms where households can sell excess solar power to neighbors. It has been piloted in Australia, India, and the US. Energy Web Foundation. The Energy Web Chain enables renewable energy certificates, grid flexibility markets, and carbon tracking. Global utilities and corporations, including Shell, Engie, and Volkswagen, use it to verify renewable sourcing. Brooklyn Microgrid, US. One of the earliest blockchain microgrids, the Brooklyn Microgrid, allows households with rooftop solar to trade excess energy locally, demonstrating how communities can self-manage clean power. WePower, Europe. WePower allows corporate buyers to purchase energy directly from renewable producers using blockchain-based smart contracts, ensuring transparency in sourcing and pricing. 10.5 Benefits of blockchain in renewable energy. Transparency prevents fraud and green energy claims. Efficiency automates certificate issuance and trading. Inclusion empowers small producers to sell directly into the grid. Sustainability helps corporations verify renewable sourcing for ESG reporting. Grid flexibility encourages distributed generation and local balancing. 10.6 Barriers and risks. Regulatory complexity. Energy markets are heavily regulated. Blockchain adoption requires legal recognition. Technology integration. Linking blockchain with smart meters and IoT devices requires significant infrastructure. Scalability. High transaction volumes in energy markets may strain blockchain systems. Digital divide. Communities without internet or digital literacy may be excluded. 10.7 The future of blockchain in energy. Over the next decade, blockchain could become the backbone of green power markets. Governments may mandate blockchain-based RECs to improve trust. Electric vehicle charging networks could use blockchain for automated payments and carbon tracking. Decentralized microgrids may expand in regions lacking reliable central infrastructure. Integration with AI forecasting could optimize renewable supply and demand. 10.8 Conclusion. Renewable energy is critical for decarbonization, but traditional systems struggle with transparency, efficiency, and inclusivity. Blockchain provides solutions through trusted renewable certificates, peer-to-peer energy trading, and decentralized microgrids. By ensuring that renewable energy claims are verifiable, tamper-proof, and widely accessible, blockchain strengthens the transition to sustainable power, and by extension to green supply chains. The next chapter will examine blockchain in the fashion and ethical manufacturing sector, where transparency and accountability are vital to tackling waste, labor exploitation, and unsustainable production. Chapter 11. Fashion and Ethical Manufacturing. 11.1 Introduction. The fashion industry, worth over $2.5 trillion annually, is also among the most environmentally damaging and socially exploitative sectors. Responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions, more than aviation and shipping combined. Produces 20% of global wastewater, largely from textile dyeing. Contributes to 92 million tons of textile waste per year. Relies heavily on low-cost labor, often under unsafe and exploitative conditions. Consumers and regulators increasingly demand sustainable and ethical fashion. Yet opacity in supply chains allows issues like fast fashion waste, counterfeit goods, and labor abuses to persist. Blockchain provides a pathway to verifiable transparency and accountability. 11.2 Challenges in fashion supply chains. Opacity in raw material origins. Cotton, leather, and synthetic fibers are often sourced without traceability. Deforestation and harmful farming practices go unnoticed. Counterfeiting. The fashion industry loses $50 billion annually to counterfeit goods, undermining sustainability and brand trust. Labor exploitation. Sweatshops and child labor remain widespread. Auditing failures often obscure violations. Waste and overproduction. Brands overproduce to meet fast fashion demand, leading to massive unsold stockpiles and landfill waste. 11.3 Blockchain solutions in fashion. Raw material traceability. Blockchain can log the origin of cotton, leather, wool, or synthetic fibers, ensuring materials are sourced sustainably and ethically. QR codes or RFID tags link finished products to their raw origins. Verification of ethical labor practices. Smart contracts can ensure that factories meet labor standards, with wages released only after compliance data, e.g. fair pay, safety audits, is verified. Anti-counterfeit measures. Luxury brands use blockchain to create digital product passports. Each item has a unique identifier stored on-chain, making counterfeits easier to detect. Circular fashion and recycling. Blockchain can track garments through their life cycle, including secondhand resale and recycling. This supports circular economy initiatives, ensuring textiles are reused rather than wasted. 11.4 Case studies. LVMH, Prada, and Cartier, Aura Blockchain Consortium. These luxury giants collaborated on Aura, a blockchain that certifies authenticity and sustainability for high-end fashion items. Consumers can verify origin and craftsmanship through digital certificates. Everledger and diamond traceability. Though not strictly fashion, Everledger's blockchain for diamonds has been adapted by jewelers to verify ethical sourcing, combating blood diamonds in luxury markets. H&M and circular supply chains. H&M has piloted blockchain for recycling programs, logging the reuse of fabrics and fibers to support its sustainability commitments. VeChain and fashion labels. VeChain partners with fashion brands to provide blockchain-based product passports, enabling consumers to scan garments and verify materials, origin, and sustainability metrics. 11.5 Benefits of blockchain in fashion. Transparency, verifiable supply chains from raw materials to retail. Trust, consumers can authenticate ethical and environmental claims. Sustainability, supports recycling, reuse, and waste reduction. Anti-counterfeit, protects brand integrity and prevents fraud. Consumer engagement, strengthens loyalty by giving buyers visibility into brand values. 11.6 Challenges and barriers. Adoption costs. Blockchain integration is costly for small and mid-sized fashion firms. Data integrity, risk of false sustainability claims being uploaded. Fragmentation, multiple platforms may create interoperability issues. Consumer habits, fast fashion demand still drives unsustainable practices regardless of transparency. 11.7 The future of blockchain in fashion. Digital product passports will become mandatory in the EU by 2030, making blockchain essential for compliance. Second-hand and resale platforms will increasingly use blockchain to verify authenticity and trace ownership. Circular economy models will be enabled, where garments are tracked across use, resale, recycling, and remanufacturing. Integration with IoT and AI will allow real-time verification of supply chain practices, e.g., factory conditions monitored via IoT feeding data to blockchain. 11.8 Conclusion. The fashion industry illustrates the dual crises of sustainability and ethics in global supply chains. Traditional systems have failed to provide sufficient transparency or accountability, enabling exploitation, waste, and fraud. Blockchain offers a powerful solution, tracking raw materials, authenticating products, enforcing ethical labor practices, and enabling circular economy models. While challenges remain, blockchain has the potential to reshape fashion into a more sustainable and ethical industry. The next chapter will explore blockchain in electronics and rare earth minerals, where supply chain transparency is equally critical due to environmental damage and geopolitical risks. Chapter 12. Electronics and Rare Earth Minerals. 12.1 Introduction. Electronics power modern life, from smartphones and laptops to electric vehicles and renewable energy infrastructure. But behind the sleek design of consumer gadgets lies a complex and often troubling supply chain. Rare earth minerals, e.g., cobalt, lithium, tantalum, tungsten, and rare earth elements, are essential for batteries, semiconductors, and magnets. Mining is concentrated in politically unstable or environmentally fragile regions, leading to labor exploitation, conflict financing, and ecological destruction. Supply chain opacity makes it difficult for companies and consumers to verify whether products are ethically and sustainably sourced. Blockchain provides a path toward traceability, accountability, and sustainability in electronics and mineral supply chains. 12.2 Challenges in electronics and mineral supply chains. Conflict minerals. Minerals like cobalt and coltan are often mined under abusive labor conditions in countries such as the Democratic Republic of Congo. Revenues frequently finance armed groups, perpetuating violence. Environmental damage. Mining for lithium and cobalt leads to water depletion, soil contamination, and toxic waste. Rare earth mining produces radioactive byproducts. Counterfeit components. The electronics industry suffers from counterfeit or substandard parts, undermining safety and performance. Complex multi-tiered networks. Components often pass through dozens of suppliers and subcontractors, making oversight extremely difficult. Regulatory pressure. Laws such as the U.S. Dodd-Frank Act and the EU Conflict Minerals Regulation mandate responsible sourcing, but compliance is often weak. 12.3 Blockchain solutions for electronics and minerals. End-to-end traceability. Blockchain can track minerals from mine to end product, creating an immutable chain of custody. Each stage, extraction, refining, component manufacturing, assembly, is logged. Certification and compliance. Smart contracts can verify compliance with conflict-free or eco-friendly sourcing standards, releasing payments only when certifications are validated. Anti-counterfeiting. Unique digital identities can be assigned to components via RFID or QR codes and logged on blockchain, ensuring authenticity and preventing counterfeit parts. Circular electronics. Blockchain can support recycling initiatives by tracking electronic components throughout their life cycle, enabling recovery of valuable minerals and reducing the need for new extraction. 12.4 Case Studies. IBM and RCS Global, Cobalt Traceability. IBM and RCS Global launched a blockchain pilot to trace cobalt used in lithium-ion batteries. By tracking cobalt from artisanal mines through refiners to car and smartphone manufacturers, the project ensures compliance with human rights standards. Evoledger, Diamond and Mineral Certification. Evoledger, initially focused on diamonds, has expanded to minerals, creating immutable digital records that verify ethical sourcing. Responsible Sourcing Blockchain Network, RSBN. Backed by companies like Ford, Volkswagen, and LG Chem, RSBN uses blockchain to ensure responsible sourcing of cobalt and other critical minerals in EV and electronic supply chains. Circular Electronics Pilot, European Union. EU-funded projects are exploring blockchain to track electronic waste recycling, ensuring recovery of rare earths while preventing illegal e-waste dumping in developing countries. 12.5 Benefits of blockchain in electronics and minerals. Transparency provides verifiable proof of ethical and sustainable sourcing. Regulatory compliance simplifies audits and adherence to global conflict mineral laws. Consumer trust strengthens brand reputation through verifiable green credentials. Supply security reduces risks of counterfeit parts and unauthorized sourcing. Circular economy encourages recovery and reuse of valuable minerals. 12.6 Challenges and risks. On-the-ground verification. Blockchain records are only as good as the data entered. Verifying conditions at mines remains difficult. Cost and adoption barriers. Small-scale miners often lack digital access, risking exclusion. Interoperability. Multiple blockchain systems could fragment adoption. Geopolitical constraints. Some governments may resist transparency that threatens revenue streams from illicit mining. 12.7 Future outlook. Mandatory traceability. Governments may require blockchain-based mineral traceability for electronics imports. Integration with IoT and drones. On-site sensors and drones can feed verified environmental and labor data directly into blockchain systems. Consumer-facing transparency. Electronics packaging may include QR codes showing mineral origins and carbon footprints. Circular mineral markets. Blockchain could underpin global markets for recycled minerals, reducing dependency on virgin extraction. 12.8 Conclusion. The electronics and rare earth mineral supply chain exemplifies the hidden costs of modern technology, human exploitation, conflict financing, and environmental harm. Traditional oversight has failed to ensure ethical and sustainable practices. Blockchain provides a promising solution: traceability, certification, anti-counterfeiting, and circular economy support. By making supply chains transparent and accountable, blockchain enables electronics manufacturers to meet regulatory requirements, reassure consumers, and reduce their environmental impact. The next chapter will shift focus to logistics and transportation, examining how blockchain enhances efficiency, transparency, and sustainability in the movement of goods. Chapter 13. Logistics and Transportation. 13.1 Introduction. Logistics and transportation form the backbone of global supply chains, ensuring that goods move from raw material suppliers to manufacturers, retailers, and consumers. Yet this sector is also one of the most environmentally damaging and operationally complex. 23% of global carbon dioxide emissions come from transport, with shipping, aviation, and trucking as major contributors. Inefficiencies such as empty container trips, route bottlenecks, and paperwork delays lead to higher costs and emissions. Opacity and fragmentation across logistics networks result in fraud, delays, and poor sustainability reporting. Blockchain has emerged as a tool to create transparent, efficient, and greener logistics systems. 13.2 Challenges in logistics and transportation. Paper-based processes. Bills of lading, customs forms, and invoices are often paper-based, causing delays and errors. Fragmented networks. Multiple actors, carriers, ports, freight forwarders, regulators, rarely share real-time data. Information silos increase inefficiency. Fraud and counterfeiting. Cargo theft and document fraud cost the industry billions annually. Environmental footprint. Lack of transparent emissions tracking makes it hard to reduce carbon impact. Supply chain disruptions. Events like COVID-19 highlighted vulnerabilities due to lack of transparency and real-time visibility. 13.3 Blockchain solutions in logistics. Digital documentation. Blockchain enables digitized bills of lading, customs declarations, and shipping manifests. These documents are tamper-proof and instantly accessible, cutting delays and administrative costs. Real-time tracking. Blockchain integrates with IoT devices and GPS systems to log cargo location, temperature, and condition. This enhances visibility across the entire logistics chain. Carbon footprint monitoring. Blockchain records emissions data, fuel use, route efficiency, idle times, immutably, allowing companies to measure and reduce transport-related carbon impacts. Smart contracts for payments. Freight payments can be automated with smart contracts, reducing disputes and ensuring on-time transactions when delivery conditions are met. Container and fleet optimization. Blockchain helps coordinate shipments, reducing empty runs and optimizing container utilization, lowering both costs and emissions. 13.4 Case Studies. TradeLens, Maersk and IBM. TradeLens was one of the largest blockchain platforms for shipping, digitizing supply chain documents and providing visibility across 90+ organizations. It reduced paperwork and fraud, though adoption challenges led to its eventual closure in 2023. Port of Rotterdam blockchain pilots. The Port of Rotterdam tested blockchain for tracking containers and coordinating logistics, proving that blockchain could cut administrative burden while improving sustainability. DHL and Accenture, pharmaceutical logistics. A blockchain solution was piloted to track temperature-sensitive medicines, ensuring compliance with cold chain requirements and preventing spoilage. CargoX blockchain bill of lading. CargoX developed a blockchain-based bill of lading, making document transfer faster, cheaper, and fraud-resistant. 13.5 Benefits of blockchain in logistics. Transparency. All parties can verify real-time cargo and document status. Efficiency. Eliminates paperwork and accelerates customs clearance. Fraud prevention. Immutable records reduce cargo theft and falsification. Sustainability. Enables carbon emissions tracking and greener route planning. Resilience. Provides better visibility during crises and disruptions. 13.6 Challenges and barriers. Adoption resistance. Logistics companies are often slow to digitize. Interoperability issues. Competing blockchain platforms fragment adoption. Regulatory alignment. Governments must recognize digital blockchain documents. Data verification. Garbage in, garbage out problem. Blockchain can still record false data. Costs. Small logistics providers may find blockchain integration too expensive. 13.7 The future of blockchain in logistics. Global standardization. Blockchain bills of lading may become industry standards, replacing paper entirely. Green logistics platforms. Carbon data logged on blockchain could drive carbon-neutral freight markets. Integration with AI and IoT. AI will optimize routing, while IoT sensors feed real-time data directly into blockchain. Autonomous vehicles and drones. Their logistics operations will be coordinated and verified via blockchain. Decentralized freight marketplaces. Truckers, shippers, and consumers may connect via blockchain-based platforms. 13.8 Conclusion. Logistics and transportation are essential to supply chains, but face efficiency, transparency, and sustainability challenges. Blockchain offers solutions through digital documentation, real-time tracking, fraud prevention, and emissions monitoring. Although adoption hurdles remain, blockchain could become the backbone of a digitized, resilient, and low-carbon logistics ecosystem, accelerating progress toward greener supply chains. The next chapter will explore blockchain in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, where traceability, safety, and ethical sourcing are critical for both public health and sustainability. Chapter 14. Healthcare and Pharmaceuticals. 14.1 Introduction. Healthcare and pharmaceuticals are industries where trust, safety, and sustainability are paramount. Yet supply chains in these sectors are highly vulnerable to counterfeit medicines, estimated at 10% of global pharmaceutical trade, costing over $200 billion annually and endangering lives. Cold chain failures, temperature-sensitive vaccines and biologics spoil due to poor tracking. Ethical sourcing concerns. Raw materials like palm oil derivatives or rare botanicals are often linked to deforestation or exploitation. Inefficiency and opacity. Long distribution networks create opportunities for fraud, waste, and poor sustainability oversight. Blockchain has the potential to provide end-to-end visibility, safety assurance, and sustainability validation in healthcare and pharmaceutical supply chains. 14.2 Challenges in healthcare and pharma supply chains. Counterfeit and substandard drugs. Widespread in developing countries, counterfeit drugs cause patient harm and reduce trust in health systems. Cold chain integrity. Vaccines and biologics must be stored within strict temperature ranges. Breakdowns cause spoilage and financial loss. Opaque raw material origins. Many ingredients are sourced from biodiversity-rich regions with little transparency. Unsustainable harvesting threatens ecosystems. Regulatory compliance. Pharma companies face strict reporting rules, e.g. FDA, EMA, but often struggle to prove compliance across global supply networks. High waste and emissions. Expired drugs, inefficient packaging, and excessive transportation contribute significantly to environmental footprints. 14.3 Blockchain solutions in healthcare and pharma. Anti-counterfeit measures. Blockchain assigns unique digital identities to drug batches. Consumers, pharmacists, and regulators can scan packaging QR codes to verify authenticity. Cold chain monitoring. IoT sensors record temperature, humidity, and handling conditions during transport. These data points are stored on blockchain, ensuring immutable records for compliance. Sustainable ingredient sourcing. Blockchain can track the origins of ingredients such as medicinal plants, palm oil derivatives, or rare minerals, verifying they are harvested ethically and sustainably. Regulatory reporting. Blockchain can automate compliance reporting for regulators, ensuring auditability and reducing the risk of fraud or error. Donation and redistribution tracking. Expired or surplus medicines can be tracked for safe redistribution, reducing waste and improving healthcare access in underserved areas. 14.4 Case studies. Medi-Ledger Network. A U.S.-based consortium using blockchain to comply with the Drug Supply Chain Security Act, DSCSA, which requires serialization and verification of medicines. IBM and KPMG Vaccine Traceability. During COVID-19, blockchain pilots tracked vaccine distribution, ensuring temperature integrity and preventing fraud. Chronicled and PharmaLedger. Chronicle developed blockchain platforms for medicine authentication, while PharmaLedger, a European initiative, explored blockchain for clinical trials, supply chain traceability, and patient safety. Bear and blockchain for clinical trials. Bear piloted blockchain to ensure integrity in clinical trial supply chains, preventing tampering or misreporting of trial drugs. 14.5 Benefits of blockchain in healthcare and pharma. Patient safety protects consumers from counterfeit or spoiled medicines. Regulatory confidence provides immutable, verifiable compliance records. Sustainability verifies ethical ingredient sourcing and reduces waste. Efficiency automates compliance and supply chain processes. Trust strengthens confidence between patients, healthcare providers, and regulators. 14.6 Challenges and barriers. Data privacy. Patient and clinical data must be handled securely, requiring careful blockchain design. Integration costs. Pharma companies may face high upfront expenses for digitization. Global standards. Lack of interoperability across different regulatory regimes. Verification at source. Blockchain alone cannot prevent false data entry. Ground-level monitoring remains necessary. 14.7 The future of blockchain in healthcare. Digital health passports. Patients may use blockchain-based health IDs to verify prescriptions and vaccination records. AI and blockchain integration. Predictive analytics could optimize supply chains, while blockchain secures underlying data. Circular pharma systems. Expired drugs could be tracked and recycled safely into new products. Global regulatory adoption. Agencies like the FDA and WHO may adopt blockchain-based verification as mandatory standards. 14.8 Conclusion. Healthcare and pharmaceutical supply chains are among the most sensitive in the world, where safety, trust, and sustainability are non-negotiable. Traditional systems struggle with counterfeits, cold chain failures, and opacity, leading to patient harm and environmental damage. Blockchain offers solutions by ensuring transparency, authenticity, compliance, and sustainability, thereby protecting both human health and the planet. The next chapter will shift to automotive and electric vehicles, EVs, examining how blockchain can enable transparency in raw material sourcing, battery recycling, and sustainable mobility. Chapter 15. Automotive and electric vehicles. 15.1 Introduction. The automotive industry is undergoing a massive transformation. From internal combustion engines, ICEs, to electric vehicles, EVs. From linear manufacturing to circular economy models, reuse, recycling, remanufacturing. From siloed value chains to digital data-driven ecosystems. Yet this transition faces sustainability challenges. Battery supply chains depend on critical minerals, lithium, cobalt, nickel, often linked to environmental and human rights abuses. Carbon-intensive production. Manufacturing a single EV battery can emit more carbon dioxide than producing an entire ICE engine. End-of-life waste. Millions of EV batteries will need recycling or repurposing by 2030. Consumer trust gaps. Buyers want proof that EVs are truly green. Blockchain offers tools for traceability, accountability, and circularity in automotive and EV supply chains. 15.2 Challenges in automotive and EV supply chains. Raw material sourcing. Cobalt and lithium often come from conflict zones with unsafe labor practices. Mining causes deforestation, water depletion, and toxic pollution. Complex supplier networks. Automakers rely on thousands of suppliers across tiers, making transparency difficult. Counterfeit and substandard parts. Counterfeit automotive parts cost the industry over $45 billion annually. Battery life cycle management. EV batteries degrade over time and must be tracked through use, reuse, and recycling. Carbon footprint accountability. Regulators and consumers demand life cycle carbon data, but reporting is often incomplete or unverifiable. 15.3 Blockchain solutions in automotive and EVs. Responsible mineral sourcing. Blockchain ensures traceability from mine to vehicle, verifying compliance with ethical and environmental standards. Digital passports for vehicles and batteries. Vehicles and batteries can have blockchain-based digital IDs containing life cycle data, from manufacturing and ownership to recycling. Smart contracts for maintenance and leasing. Maintenance logs, warranties, and leasing agreements can be automated with smart contracts, reducing fraud and administrative overhead. Circular economy models. Blockchain supports closed-loop systems by tracking used EV batteries for second life applications, e.g., stationary energy storage, and ensuring responsible recycling. Carbon footprint tracking. Blockchain can log emissions across vehicle production, use, and end of life, enabling accurate carbon reporting for manufacturers and regulators. 15.4 Case studies. MOBI, Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative. An industry consortium including BMW, Ford, and GM uses blockchain for vehicle identity, ownership tracking, and carbon reporting. Volvo and Cattle, Cobalt Traceability. Volvo partnered with blockchain providers to trace cobalt in EV batteries, ensuring ethical sourcing. Renault XCEED Project. Renault developed a blockchain platform for regulatory compliance across its supply chain, improving transparency and efficiency. Circular battery supply chains. Circular provides blockchain-based traceability for EV battery minerals, helping automakers like Jaguar Land Rover and Volvo demonstrate responsible sourcing. 15.5 Benefits of blockchain in automotive and EVs. Transparency, from raw material sourcing to end-of-life recycling. Safety, prevents counterfeit parts and verifies maintenance histories. Sustainability, supports closed-loop recycling of batteries and parts. Compliance, simplifies adherence to strict environmental and safety regulations. Consumer trust, buyers can verify the ethical and environmental credentials of vehicles. 15.6 Challenges and barriers. Data verification at source. Blockchain alone cannot ensure mines or recyclers report accurate data. Cost of implementation. Automakers face high integration costs. Interoperability. Different automakers may adopt competing blockchain systems. Regulatory uncertainty. Governments are still developing rules for digital IDs and traceability requirements. 15.7 Future outlook. Battery passports. By 2027, the EU will mandate digital product passports for all EV batteries. Blockchain is expected to be a key technology. Smart mobility ecosystems. Blockchain could support ride-sharing, EV charging payments, and autonomous vehicle coordination. Second life batteries. Blockchain marketplaces may emerge for used EV batteries repurposed for renewable energy storage. Global standards. International alignment on blockchain traceability for automotive supply chains is likely to accelerate. 15.8 Conclusion. The automotive and EV industry is central to the green transition, but faces serious sustainability and transparency challenges. Blockchain offers solutions by enabling responsible mineral sourcing, life cycle traceability, circular economy models, and carbon accountability. By combining blockchain with IoT and AI, automakers can build truly green mobility ecosystems, reinforcing consumer trust and regulatory compliance. The next chapter will explore blockchain in construction and real estate, where transparency and sustainability are critical for materials, carbon emissions, and ethical labor practices. Chapter 16. Construction and real estate. 16.1 Introduction. The construction and real estate sectors are central to global economic development, but also to the climate crisis. Buildings account for 39% of global carbon dioxide emissions, 28% from operations, heating, cooling, electricity, and 11% from construction materials like steel and cement. Construction consumes 50% of all extracted raw materials worldwide. Real estate transactions are notoriously opaque, prone to corruption, fraud, and inefficiencies. Sustainable building practices and transparent real estate systems are urgently needed. Blockchain offers tools to track materials, certify green buildings, reduce fraud, and streamline property management. 16.2 Challenges in construction and real estate supply chains. Carbon-intensive materials. Cement production alone accounts for 8% of global carbon dioxide emissions. Lack of transparency in sourcing materials undermines sustainability claims. Fragmented stakeholder ecosystems. Construction projects involve contractors, suppliers, regulators, architects, and financiers, with siloed information flows. Fraud and corruption in real estate. Land registries are often outdated or manipulated. Property fraud costs billions annually, especially in developing economies. Greenwashing. Sustainable building certifications are often unverifiable. Waste and inefficiency. Construction generates over 1/3 of global solid waste, much of it recyclable but poorly tracked. 16.3 Blockchain solutions in construction and real estate. Material traceability. Blockchain can track steel, cement, timber, and other materials from extraction to building site, verifying their carbon footprint and sustainability. Green building certification. Smart contracts can automate green certification processes, storing energy efficiency data and material sourcing records on-chain for transparency. Real estate transactions. Blockchain-based land registries and property records reduce fraud, increase trust, and speed up real estate transactions. Construction project management. Immutable ledgers can synchronize contracts, payments, and milestones across multiple stakeholders, reducing disputes and delays. Circular construction. Blockchain can track demolition waste and building components for recycling or reuse, enabling a circular construction economy. 16.4 Case studies. Propi, blockchain real estate transactions. Propi enables real estate transactions on blockchain, providing transparent and secure property transfers in the US and Europe. UK BIM and blockchain pilots. Blockchain has been piloted with Building Information Modeling, BIM, in the UK to improve data sharing, reduce disputes, and enhance sustainability verification. Dubai Blockchain Land Registry. Dubai is developing a blockchain-based land registry to digitize real estate ownership records, aligning with its smart city strategy. Wholesome and material traceability. Wholesome has explored blockchain for tracking cement and aggregates, helping buyers verify carbon footprint data. 16.5 Benefits of blockchain in construction and real estate. Transparency, verified material sourcing and carbon footprint data. Efficiency, digitized property transactions and project management. Fraud reduction, immutable land registries and ownership records. Sustainability, supports circular construction and green certifications. Investor confidence, provides reliable ESG data for real estate investment. 16.6 Challenges and barriers. Regulatory alignment. Governments must legally recognize blockchain-based property titles. Data entry reliability. Material suppliers must provide accurate sustainability data. Adoption costs. Smaller firms may find digital integration challenging. Industry resistance. Construction is traditionally slow to adopt new technologies. 16.7 Future outlook. Smart cities. Blockchain could underpin digital property registries, energy-efficient building management, and shared mobility hubs. Carbon-neutral buildings. Blockchain-based carbon tracking could become mandatory for construction projects. Tokenized real estate. Properties may be fractionalized into blockchain tokens, democratizing access to real estate investment. Circular material marketplaces. Blockchain platforms could trade recycled materials from demolition projects. 16.8 Conclusion. The construction and real estate industries are major drivers of global emissions, waste, and inefficiency. Current systems lack transparency, enabling greenwashing and corruption. Blockchain provides powerful solutions, traceable materials, transparent property transactions, verified green certifications, and circular construction models. By embedding trust and accountability into construction and real estate, blockchain can make one of the world's most resource-intensive industries significantly greener. The next chapter will explore blockchain in food retail and consumer goods, where sustainability and ethical sourcing are critical to consumer trust. Chapter 17. Food retail and consumer goods. 17.1 Introduction. The food retail and consumer goods industries touch billions of lives daily. Yet they face massive sustainability challenges. Food waste. 1/3 of all food produced globally, about 1.3 billion tons annually, is wasted. Ethical sourcing. Coffee, cocoa, palm oil, and seafood supply chains are often tied to deforestation, child labor, and overfishing. Consumer trust gaps. Shoppers increasingly demand proof of organic, fair trade, and sustainable labels, but verification is inconsistent. Plastic packaging waste. Consumer goods contribute to 40% of global plastic waste, much of it single-use. Blockchain provides tools for traceability, authenticity verification, waste reduction, and circular packaging systems, helping restore trust and align supply chains with sustainability. 17.2 Challenges in food retail and consumer goods supply chains. Opaque supply chains. Multi-tier networks make it hard to verify the origin of food and consumer goods. Counterfeit and mislabeled products. Fake organic or fair trade labels erode consumer trust. Food safety risks. Outbreaks of foodborne illnesses, e.g., E. coli, salmonella, require rapid traceability to protect consumers. High carbon footprints. Long-distance transport and energy-intensive processing drive emissions. Excessive waste. Both food loss during production and plastic waste after consumption remain systemic issues. 17.3 Blockchain solutions. Farm-to-fork traceability. Blockchain tracks food from farm to shelf, providing transparency on origin, journey, and sustainability certifications. Authenticity verification. QR codes or NFC tags linked to blockchain records allow consumers to scan and verify authenticity of organic or fair trade labels. Food safety and recall efficiency. When contamination occurs, blockchain enables rapid pinpointing of affected batches, reducing recall times from weeks to minutes. Carbon and sustainability reporting. Blockchain can record carbon footprints of food and goods, helping retailers comply with ESG mandates. Circular packaging systems. Reusable or recyclable packaging can be tracked on blockchain, encouraging take-back systems and deposit models. 17.4 Case studies. IBM Food Trust. Adopted by Walmart, Nestlé, and Carrefour, IBM Food Trust provides blockchain-based traceability for produce, dairy, and seafood. Walmart reduced mango traceability from 7 days to 2.2 seconds. Carrefour's blockchain for organic foods. Carrefour uses blockchain to let consumers scan QR codes and verify farm origins of organic chicken, milk, and produce. Unilever and sustainable palm oil. Unilever piloted blockchain with suppliers to trace palm oil origins and ensure compliance with deforestation-free policies. Supplychain for fisheries. Blockchain has been piloted in fisheries to combat illegal, unreported, and unregulated IUU fishing and improve seafood sustainability. 17.5 Benefits. Consumer trust, verifiable sustainability and safety claims. Safety, faster and more targeted recalls. Sustainability, supports ethical sourcing and circular packaging. Efficiency, reduces paperwork and middlemen in certification processes. Market access, small farmers gain access to premium markets through verified credentials. 17.6 Challenges and barriers. Smallholder inclusion. Many small farmers lack digital infrastructure to participate. Data verification. Blockchain ensures immutability but cannot prevent false data entry at source. Cost of integration. Retailers must invest in IoT, QR codes, and digital certification systems. Consumer awareness. Success depends on whether consumers actively scan and trust blockchain-backed data. 17.7 Future outlook. Personalized transparency. Consumers may track their carbon footprint per product at the checkout. Automated carbon taxes. Smart contracts could apply carbon taxes dynamically at the point of sale. Global standards for food data. Blockchain could harmonize certifications across borders. Blockchain plus IoT sensors, temperature and freshness tracking from farm to fridge. Circular consumer goods. Blockchain-enabled marketplaces for reusable packaging, clothing resale, and second-hand goods. 17.8 Conclusion. Food retail and consumer goods industries are at the front line of consumer demand for sustainability and transparency. Blockchain offers solutions that enable farm-to-fork traceability, authenticity verification, rapid recall management, and sustainable packaging systems. By combining blockchain with IoT and AI, these industries can reduce waste, prove ethical sourcing, and build consumer trust in a green economy. The next chapter will shift to fashion and textiles, an industry plagued by fast fashion, labor exploitation, and massive environmental footprints. Chapter 18. Fashion and Textiles. 18.1 Introduction. Fashion is a $2.5 trillion global industry, but also one of the most unsustainable. Responsible for 10% of global carbon dioxide emissions, more than aviation and shipping combined. Consumes 93 billion cubic meters of water annually, enough to meet the needs of 5 million people. Produces 20% of global wastewater through dyeing and finishing processes. Linked to fast fashion, labor exploitation, and overproduction, with 85% of textiles ending up in landfills each year. Blockchain offers a way to bring accountability, transparency, and circularity into the fashion and textile supply chain, aligning it with green practices. 18.2 Challenges in fashion and textile supply chains. Opaque global supply chains. Multi-tier networks spanning cotton farms, mills, dye houses, and factories, obscure material origins. Labor exploitation. Sweatshops and unsafe working conditions remain prevalent. Counterfeit luxury goods. The counterfeit fashion market is worth over $450 billion annually. Fast fashion waste. Low-cost clothing leads to overproduction and short product lifespans. Environmental impact. Synthetic textiles like polyester contribute significantly to microplastic pollution. 18.3 Blockchain solutions in fashion and textiles. Material traceability. Blockchain can track raw materials such as organic cotton, recycled polyester, or leather alternatives, ensuring verified sustainability claims. Ethical labor verification. Blockchain-based digital records can certify factory audits, ensuring ethical labor practices and reducing audit fraud. Anti-counterfeit measures. Luxury brands can embed RFID NFC chips linked to blockchain to verify product authenticity. Circular fashion. Blockchain enables digital IDs for garments, tracking ownership, resale, rental, and recycling, supporting circular fashion ecosystems. Sustainability reporting. Brands can log carbon, water, and energy footprints of each garment, creating transparency for regulators and consumers. 18.4 Case studies. Provenance and organic cotton. UK-based Provenance has piloted blockchain to track organic cotton from farms in India to fashion retailers. Aura Blockchain Consortium. Formed by LVMH, Prada, and Cartier, Aura uses blockchain to verify luxury product authenticity and sustainability. Evaledger and diamond traceability. Evaledger, originally for diamonds, has expanded into textiles to prove ethical sourcing. H&M and Circular ID. H&M piloted digital IDs for garments to enable resale, rental, and recycling tracking. 18.5 Benefits of blockchain in fashion and textiles. Transparency, end-to-end visibility of garment lifecycle. Sustainability, supports recycled and circular models. Ethical assurance, verifies fair labor practices. Consumer trust, provides verifiable authenticity and sustainability data. Regulatory compliance, meets rising requirements for ESG reporting. 18.6 Challenges and barriers. Data input reliability. Verifying farm or factory data at the source remains difficult. Cost of implementation. Smaller fashion brands may lack resources to adopt blockchain. Consumer engagement. Requires consumers to interact with digital garment IDs. Industry resistance. Fast fashion models thrive on opacity and overproduction. 18.7 Future outlook. Digital product passports (DPPs). The EU will require DPPs for textiles by 2030. Blockchain is a likely foundation. Resale and rental ecosystems. Blockchain could power second-hand fashion platforms with verifiable authenticity. Tokenized fashion. NFTs and digital twins may merge physical and digital fashion markets. Zero waste circularity. Blockchain can track materials through closed-loop recycling systems. 18.8 Conclusion. Fashion and textiles represent a critical front in the fight for sustainability. Currently, the industry is plagued by waste, exploitation, and environmental destruction. Blockchain provides the tools to enable traceability, authenticity, ethical labor verification, and circular fashion models, empowering consumers and regulators to demand accountability. By embedding blockchain into fashion's DNA, the industry can evolve from fast fashion to sustainable, circular, and transparent fashion ecosystems. The next chapter will explore blockchain in electronics and e-waste management, where supply chains face similar issues of resource scarcity, recycling, and circularity. Chapter 19. Electronics and e-waste. 19.1 Introduction. Electronics are the backbone of the digital economy, but their life cycle has serious environmental and social consequences. Global e-waste reached 62 million metric tons in 2022 and is projected to grow to over 80 million metric tons by 2030. Less than 20% of e-waste is formally recycled, while the rest is burned, dumped, or informally processed. Electronic devices require critical minerals, gold, cobalt, rare earths, often sourced from environmentally destructive or exploitative mining. Planned obsolescence and rapid upgrade cycles worsen waste and emissions. Blockchain can provide the traceability, accountability, and incentives needed to manage electronics more sustainably, from responsible sourcing to end-of-life recycling. 19.2 Challenges in electronic supply chains. Opaque mineral sourcing. Cobalt, tantalum, and rare earth minerals are often mined in conflict zones, linked to child labor and environmental damage. Short product lifespans. Tech companies often design devices for limited lifespans, accelerating e-waste accumulation. Counterfeit components. Fake electronic parts threaten safety, cybersecurity, and reliability. E-waste mismanagement. Informal recycling exposes workers to toxic substances like mercury and lead. Circular economy barriers. Lack of tracking prevents efficient reuse, refurbishment, and recycling of electronic components. 19.3 Blockchain solutions in electronics and e-waste. Responsible sourcing. Blockchain can trace minerals from mines to manufacturers, verifying ethical sourcing and environmental compliance. Digital product passports. Devices can be assigned blockchain-based digital IDs that store repair history, ownership, and recyclability data. Counterfeit prevention. Blockchain can authenticate parts and components, preventing counterfeit chips or unsafe electronics from entering supply chains. Circular economy tracking. Blockchain enables tracking of electronics through resale, refurbishment, and recycling, supporting a closed-loop system. Incentive mechanisms. Consumers can be rewarded via blockchain tokens for returning devices to certified recyclers, reducing landfill waste. 19.4 Case studies. Fairphone. Fairphone, a Dutch company, pioneered blockchain pilots for responsible cobalt sourcing and modular phones designed for longer lifespans. Dell's blockchain recycling pilots. Dell has explored blockchain to track e-waste recycling, aiming for circular IT asset management. Evoledger in electronics. Evoledger extended its blockchain traceability platform, originally for diamonds, to electronics, tracking batteries and components. EU Digital Product Passport Initiative. The EU is developing mandatory digital product passports for electronics by 2026, with blockchain considered as a backbone technology. 19.5 Benefits of blockchain in electronics and e-waste. Transparency, traceability of minerals and components. Sustainability, facilitates recycling, reuse, and extended lifespans. Safety, prevents counterfeit and unsafe parts. Consumer engagement, incentivizes device return and recycling. Regulatory compliance, meets new circular economy mandates in the EU and beyond. 19.6 Challenges and barriers. Data accuracy at source. Blockchain depends on accurate reporting from miners and recyclers. High implementation costs. Small electronics firms may struggle with digitization. Global standardization. fragmented adoption may limit interoperability. Resistance from manufacturers. Planned obsolescence conflicts with circular economy goals. 19.7 Future Outlook. Mandatory digital passports. By 2030, all electronics in major markets may require blockchain-enabled IDs. Secondary markets growth. Blockchain could legitimize and expand second-hand electronics markets. IoT plus blockchain integration. Smart devices could log usage and repair data directly to blockchain. E-waste tokenization. Markets for recovered minerals may be tokenized, making recycling more profitable. 19.8 Conclusion. Electronics and e-waste represent one of the largest sustainability challenges of the 21st century. Today's linear take-make-dispose model is unsustainable, creating massive waste and human rights risks. Blockchain provides a framework for responsible sourcing, counterfeit prevention, circular product tracking, and recycling incentives. Together with regulation and consumer engagement, it could transform electronics into a circular, transparent, and sustainable system. The next chapter will explore blockchain in agriculture and forestry, where sustainable land management and carbon sequestration are at the forefront of climate action. Chapter 20. Agriculture and Forestry. 20.1 Introduction. Agriculture and forestry are foundational to human survival. They provide food, fiber, fuel, and vital ecosystem services. Yet both sectors are at the center of the sustainability crisis. Agriculture accounts for 70% of global freshwater withdrawals and nearly 25% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Deforestation contributes 10 to 15% of global carbon dioxide emissions, largely from agricultural expansion, e.g. soy, beef, palm oil. Forests are disappearing at a rate of 10 million hectares annually, reducing biodiversity and carbon sinks. Supply chains for commodities like cocoa, coffee, palm oil, and timber are opaque, allowing deforestation, land grabs, and labor abuses to persist. Blockchain offers a pathway to traceability, accountability, and sustainability verification in agriculture and forestry supply chains. 20.2 Challenges in agriculture and forestry supply chains. Deforestation-linked commodities. Soy, beef, palm oil, and cocoa are major drivers of deforestation. Smallholder farmer exclusion. Millions of smallholder farmers lack access to transparent markets, certifications, and fair prices. Illegal logging. Up to 30% of timber traded globally is illegally sourced. Food security and climate pressure. Agriculture must feed 10 billion people by 2050 while reducing emissions and preserving ecosystems. Certification gaps. Labels like organic or sustainable forestry often face credibility issues due to fraud and weak oversight. 20.3 Blockchain solutions. Traceable commodity supply chains. Blockchain enables farm-to-market visibility for cocoa, coffee, palm oil, soy, and beef, reducing deforestation risks. Digital farmer identities. Blockchain provides smallholders with digital IDs and transaction histories, improving access to fair trade and finance. Timber legality verification. Logs can be tagged with QR codes or RFID chips linked to blockchain, verifying legality and sustainability. Carbon and ecosystem services markets. Blockchain can record and trade carbon credits from reforestation, agroforestry, or soil carbon sequestration projects. Smart contracts for certification. Certification processes, organic fair trade, FSC forestry, can be automated via smart contracts, reducing fraud and paperwork. 20.4 Case studies. Global Forest Watch plus blockchain pilots. Efforts to integrate deforestation alerts with blockchain aim to verify supply chains against satellite monitoring. WWF and blockchain, tuna plus timber. WWF has tested blockchain for both tuna fisheries and timber supply chains, ensuring legal sourcing. Olam International. Olam piloted blockchain to track cocoa and coffee sourcing, providing smallholders with verified market access. Vera and blockchain carbon markets. Carbon registries like Vera are exploring blockchain integration to improve integrity of forestry carbon credits. 20.5 Benefits of blockchain in agriculture and forestry. Deforestation reduction verifies that commodities are not linked to illegal clearing. Farmer empowerment. Smallholders gain fairer prices and access to sustainable markets. Carbon tracking supports transparent carbon and biodiversity credit markets. Trust in certifications reduces fraud in sustainability labels. Global market access enhances credibility for exporters in sustainability-focused markets. 20.6 Challenges and barriers. Digital divide. Many rural farmers lack internet access or blockchain-ready tools. Data entry integrity. Verifying information at the farm or forest level remains difficult. Implementation costs. Blockchain solutions may be expensive for smallholders. Political and corporate resistance. Powerful actors may resist transparency in land use practices. 20.7 Future outlook. Mandatory due diligence. The EU Deforestation Regulation, EUDR, may drive blockchain adoption for verifying supply chains. Agroforestry incentives. Blockchain-enabled carbon markets could reward farmers for climate-smart agriculture. Global timber passports. Timber may be tracked with blockchain digital IDs to curb illegal logging. AI plus satellite monitoring integration. Remote sensing data could automatically feed blockchain with verified deforestation alerts. 20.8 Conclusion. Agriculture and forestry are at the heart of sustainability challenges, linking food security, climate mitigation, and biodiversity protection. Current systems lack transparency, enabling deforestation, illegal logging, and unfair treatment of smallholders. Blockchain can transform these sectors by enabling traceable commodities, digital farmer inclusion, carbon credit verification, and certified sustainable forestry. When paired with IoT, AI, and satellite monitoring, blockchain can help shift land use toward a climate-smart, deforestation-free, and equitable future. The next chapter will examine blockchain in energy and utilities, a sector undergoing its own green transformation through renewables and decentralized systems. Chapter 21. Energy and Utilities. 21.1 Introduction. The global energy sector is undergoing a profound transformation. Transition from fossil fuels to renewables, solar, wind, hydro, geothermal. Emergence of distributed energy resources, DERs, rooftop solar, home batteries, and electric vehicles. Push for decarbonization, with utilities and regulators setting net zero targets by 2050. Yet the sector faces systemic challenges: grid stability, renewable intermittency, carbon tracking, and equitable energy access. Blockchain offers tools for decentralized energy trading, renewable certification, carbon tracking, and utility transparency. 21.2 Challenges in energy and utilities. Grid complexity. Distributed energy sources increase grid management challenges. Intermittency of renewables. Solar and wind require balancing mechanisms to ensure reliability. Opaque carbon accounting. Many companies greenwash energy claims due to unverifiable renewable sourcing. High transaction costs. Traditional utility models involve expensive intermediaries. Energy poverty. Around 775 million people still lack reliable access to electricity. 21.3 Blockchain solutions. Peer-to-peer (P2P) energy trading. Blockchain enables households with rooftop solar or batteries to trade excess energy with neighbors via smart contracts. Renewable energy certificates, RECs. Blockchain provides tamper-proof renewable energy certificates, reducing fraud and double counting. Carbon and emissions tracking. Utilities can log carbon intensity of electricity generation on blockchain, improving reporting accuracy. Grid management and microgrids. Smart contracts can balance local supply and demand, automating energy flows in decentralized microgrids. Inclusive energy access. Blockchain microgrids can support rural electrification by enabling low-cost community-managed systems. 21.4 Case Studies. Brooklyn Microgrid, LO3 Energy. A pioneering blockchain-based peer-to-peer energy trading pilot in New York, allowing residents to sell excess solar energy locally. Power Ledger, Australia. Power Ledger operates blockchain platforms for P2P energy trading, carbon markets, and renewable certificates across Asia-Pacific. WePower. WePower use blockchain to tokenize renewable energy, enabling transparent green energy purchases for businesses. Energy Web Foundation, EWF. An open-source blockchain for the energy sector, adopted by utilities globally to manage renewables, EV charging, and grid services. 21.5 Benefits of blockchain in energy and utilities. Transparency, trustworthy renewable sourcing and carbon reporting. Efficiency, reduces intermediaries in energy trading and certificate issuance. Resilience, supports decentralized grids and local energy autonomy. Equity, expands access to renewable energy for underserved communities. Innovation, enables integration of EVs, smart homes, and energy storage. 21.6 Challenges and barriers. Scalability, blockchain must handle millions of energy transactions per second. Regulatory uncertainty, many jurisdictions lack frameworks for blockchain-based energy markets. Data integration, requires IoT sensors and smart meters to provide accurate data. Adoption costs, utilities may resist shifting from centralized legacy systems. 21.7 Future Outlook. Energy tokenization, widespread use of blockchain tokens representing energy units, kWh. EV to grid integration, blockchain could manage EV battery charging, discharging as grid assets. Dynamic carbon pricing, smart contracts may enable real-time carbon-adjusted electricity pricing. Universal renewable certification, global blockchain-backed standards for RECs and guarantees of origin. 21.8 Conclusion. The energy and utilities sector is at the forefront of the green transition, but faces immense challenges in balancing decarbonization, decentralization, and democratization. Blockchain provides solutions for peer-to-peer energy trading, renewable certification, carbon transparency, and decentralized grid management. By merging blockchain with IoT, AI, and renewable infrastructure, energy systems can become more transparent, equitable, and sustainable. The next chapter will focus on waste management and circular economy, exploring how blockchain can track materials, reduce waste, and enable closed-loop production systems. Chapter 22. Waste Management and Circular Economy. 22.1 Introduction. The world generates over 2.24 billion tons of solid waste annually, projected to rise to 3.4 billion tons by 2050. Mismanaged waste leads to environmental damage, plastics polluting oceans, toxic e-waste contaminating soil and water. Lost value. 90% of plastic packaging is discarded after a single use, costing the economy $80–120 billion annually. Greenhouse gas emissions. Landfills produce methane, a gas 80x more potent than carbon dioxide. The shift from a linear economy, take, make, dispose, to a circular economy, reduce, reuse, recycle, regenerate, is essential. Blockchain provides the transparency and accountability needed to make circular models credible and scalable. 22.2 Challenges in waste and circular systems. Lack of transparency. Waste often disappears into informal or illegal channels, undermining recycling targets. Inefficient recycling markets. Mismatched supply and demand for recycled materials due to poor traceability. Greenwashing. Companies make unverifiable recyclable or zero-waste claims, Incentive gaps. Consumers and businesses often lack motivation to properly segregate or return materials. E-waste and hazardous materials. Toxic waste streams, electronics, chemicals are mismanaged in informal sectors. 22.3 Blockchain solutions. Material traceability. Blockchain can track plastics, metals, paper, and textiles from production through recycling, ensuring accountability. Circular product passports. Products can carry blockchain-based digital IDs, storing material composition, recyclability, and repair history. Waste tokenization. Consumers and companies can earn blockchain-based tokens for returning recyclables to certified channels. Compliance and reporting. Blockchain can streamline extended producer responsibility, EPR, compliance, automating waste reporting and auditing. Secondary marketplaces. Blockchain platforms can connect recyclers and manufacturers, creating efficient markets for recycled inputs. 22.4 Case studies. Plastic Bank. Plastic Bank uses blockchain to reward individuals in developing countries for collecting plastic waste, turning it into a tradable resource. Circularize. A Dutch startup using blockchain to create digital product passports for plastics and chemicals, enabling circular production. Recycle.geo. Blockchain-based platform for supply chain transparency in recycling, improving efficiency for recyclers and manufacturers. Coca-Cola and blockchain recycling pilots. Coca-Cola has piloted blockchain for tracking recycled plastic in its bottling supply chain. 22.5 Benefits of blockchain in waste and circular economy. Transparency, verifiable records of recycling and reuse. Accountability, prevents greenwashing and illegal dumping. Efficiency, facilitates secondary material markets. Incentives, engages consumers through tokenized rewards. Regulatory compliance, simplifies EPR and waste reporting. 22.6 Challenges and barriers. Data entry integrity. Blockchain cannot prevent false reporting without IoT or third-party audits. Scalability. Tracking billions of waste items requires robust infrastructure. Consumer adoption. Incentives may be required to drive behavior change. Market development. Secondary markets for recycled inputs need global coordination. 22.7 Future outlook. Mandatory product passports. By 2030, the EU will require digital passports for many consumer goods, blockchain likely to underpin them. AI plus IoT integration. Smart bins and scanners can automatically log waste streams onto blockchain. Tokenized carbon and waste credits. Recyclers may trade waste credits like carbon credits. Circular supply chain networks. Blockchain could coordinate global circular flows of materials. 22.8 Conclusion. Waste mismanagement and resource overuse threaten ecosystems, economies, and climate goals. The circular economy is the solution, but it requires trust, transparency, and accountability. Blockchain enables material traceability, product passports, recycling incentives, and secondary markets, making circularity measurable and verifiable. By integrating blockchain with IoT, AI, and regulatory frameworks, we can turn waste into value and build a closed-loop, sustainable economy. The next chapter will focus on shipping and maritime logistics, a sector critical for global trade but also a major source of emissions and inefficiencies. Chapter 23. Shipping and Maritime Logistics. 23.1 Introduction. Maritime shipping is the backbone of international trade, transporting around 90% of global goods by volume. While efficient compared to air freight, the sector is still responsible for -3% of global carbon dioxide emissions, comparable to the entire country of Germany. Heavy use of sulfur-rich fuels, contributing to air pollution and health risks. Opaque supply chains, where cargo ownership, customs, and compliance documents are fragmented and paper-based. Inefficiencies such as port delays, fuel waste, and underutilized shipping capacity. The International Maritime Organization, IMO, has set targets for net zero shipping emissions by 2050. Blockchain can help achieve this by enhancing transparency, efficiency, and accountability in maritime logistics. 23.2 Challenges in shipping and maritime logistics. Emission reduction pressure. Shipping firms face rising regulatory and customer demands for greener operations. Fragmented documentation. Bills of lading, customs, insurance, and compliance records remain paper-based, prone to fraud and delays. Fuel and route inefficiencies. Lack of real-time visibility leads to suboptimal fuel use and emissions. Counterfeit goods and illegal trade. Weak tracking enables counterfeit goods, illegal fishing, and smuggling. Slow adoption of digital systems. Industry conservatism and regulatory complexity slow modernization. 23.3 Blockchain solutions. Digital bills of lading. Blockchain replaces paper-based bills with secure, tamper-proof digital documents, reducing fraud and delays. Carbon and fuel tracking. Smart contracts can log emissions, fuel use, and carbon intensity of voyages for regulatory compliance and customer reporting. Transparent cargo tracking. Blockchain integrates with IoT devices and GPS for real-time visibility of cargo location and condition. Anti-counterfeit and compliance. Shipments can be registered on blockchain, deterring counterfeit goods and illegal fishing products from entering supply chains. Port and customs efficiency. Blockchain-based platforms streamline customs clearance, reducing paperwork and port congestion. 23.4 Case studies. TradeLens, Maersk, and IBM. One of the largest blockchain pilots in shipping, TradeLens digitized supply chain documentation before winding down in 2022 due to limited industry collaboration. Lessons highlight the importance of open, cooperative platforms. Global Shipping Business Network, GSBN. A blockchain-based consortium involving Costco, Hapag-Lloyd, and other major carriers, focused on digital documentation and cargo tracking. CargoX. A blockchain platform specializing in digital bills of lading, widely used in customs processes in the Middle East and Europe. Marine blockchain carbon tracking. Emerging pilots test blockchain to record fuel usage, emissions, and compliance with IMO sulfur caps. 23.5 Benefits of blockchain in shipping. Transparency, verified records of cargo routes and compliance. Efficiency, reduce delays and paperwork through digital smart contracts. Sustainability, accurate tracking of carbon emissions and fuel use. Fraud prevention, tamper-proof bills of lading and cargo documentation. Customer trust, shippers can demonstrate green credentials to sustainability-conscious clients. 23.6 Challenges and barriers. Industry conservatism, shipping is slow to adopt new technologies. High implementation costs, small carriers and ports may struggle with adoption. Interoperability issues, competing blockchain platforms fragment adoption. Data integrity, blockchain depends on accurate IoT data for emissions and cargo logs. 23.7 Future outlook. Carbon pricing integration, blockchain could automate carbon fees for high-emission voyages. Green shipping corridors, blockchain may coordinate low-carbon fuel adoption across designated trade routes. Integration with digital twins, real-time ship and port data logged onto blockchain for predictive efficiency. Universal maritime ledger. By 2035, shipping may adopt a single blockchain standard for documentation and compliance. 23.8 Conclusion. Maritime shipping is both the lifeblood of global trade and a major source of emissions. Current systems rely on inefficient, paper-heavy processes and lack transparency. Blockchain can revolutionize shipping by introducing digital bills of lading, carbon tracking, transparent cargo visibility, and efficient port operations. By linking blockchain with IoT, AI, and carbon pricing, the shipping sector can accelerate its transition toward efficiency, decarbonization, and resilience. The next chapter will focus on aviation and aerospace, another carbon-intensive transport sector exploring blockchain to improve sustainability. Chapter 24. Aviation and Aerospace. 24.1 Introduction. Aviation and aerospace are among the most innovative yet environmentally challenging sectors. Aviation accounts for -2.5% of global carbon dioxide emissions, but up to 4 to 5% of climate impact when including non-carbon dioxide effects, contrails, nitrogen oxides. Air traffic is projected to double by 2040, making decarbonization urgent. Aerospace supply chains involve thousands of suppliers with complex regulatory requirements. Safety, maintenance, and certification demand rigorous tracking and verification. Blockchain offers solutions for supply chain transparency, carbon accountability, digital identity for aircraft parts, and sustainable aviation fuels (SAF) tracking. 24.2 Challenges in aviation and aerospace. Carbon reduction pressure. Airlines face net zero pledges by 2050, but lack reliable mechanisms to track and verify emissions reductions. Complex supply chains. Aircraft manufacturing involves thousands of suppliers across multiple countries, raising risks of counterfeits and inefficiencies. Sustainable aviation fuel (SAF) verification. SAF adoption is rising, but certification and tracking remain fragmented. Maintenance, repair, and overhaul (MRO). Aircraft parts require meticulous traceability to ensure safety and compliance. High costs of compliance. Airlines face heavy documentation burdens to meet safety and environmental standards. 24.3 Blockchain solutions. Carbon and emissions tracking. Blockchain provides verifiable tamper-proof records of flight emissions, carbon offsets, and SAF use. SAF certification and tracking. Smart contracts can certify and track SAF production, distribution, and use, preventing double counting of green fuel claims. Digital aircraft part passports. Each aircraft component can carry a blockchain-based digital identity, recording manufacturing, installation, repairs, and inspections. Streamlined compliance and MRO. Blockchain reduces paperwork by digitizing maintenance and safety certifications, improving efficiency and transparency. Passenger engagement. Blockchain-based apps can allow passengers to verify flight sustainability claims and participate in carbon offset programs. 24.4 Case studies. Honeywell's GoDirect Trade. A blockchain-powered marketplace for used aircraft parts, increasing trust and reducing counterfeit risk in MRO. Boeing blockchain pilots. Boeing has tested blockchain for aircraft part traceability and predictive maintenance integration. IATA blockchain SAF initiatives. The International Air Transport Association is exploring blockchain to certify and track sustainable aviation fuels globally. Accenture and WEF Aviation Blockchain White Paper. A joint initiative outlined blockchain use cases for emissions tracking and aviation sustainability. 24.5 Benefits of blockchain in aviation and aerospace. Trustworthy SAF certification prevents greenwashing in sustainable fuel claims. Carbon transparency, accurate emissions accounting for regulators and customers. Safety and reliability, ensures aircraft parts and maintenance logs are authentic. Efficiency, reduces delays from paperwork and manual compliance processes. Consumer engagement, builds trust in airline sustainability commitments. 24.6 Challenges and barriers. Scalability. Aviation involves millions of flights and parts. Blockchain must scale efficiently. Integration with legacy systems. Airlines and regulators rely on decades-old IT infrastructure. Standardization. Lack of global agreement on SAF and emissions tracking protocols. Costs. High implementation costs may deter smaller airlines and suppliers. 24.7 Future outlook. Global SAF tracking standards. Blockchain may underpin international frameworks for fuel certification. Carbon-neutral passenger flights. Blockchain tokens could enable real-time offsetting of individual tickets. Digital twin integration. Aircraft digital twins may sync with blockchain to record real-time data on performance and emissions. Space industry applications. Aerospace blockchain use could extend to satellite tracking and sustainable space operations. 24.8 Conclusion. Aviation and aerospace face a dual challenge of decarbonization and safety assurance. Supply chain opacity, SAF certification gaps, and carbon accounting complexities hinder progress. Blockchain provides a trusted, transparent framework for SAF verification, emissions tracking, MRO records, and passenger engagement. When combined with IoT, AI, and digital twins, blockchain can accelerate aviation's shift toward a safer, greener, and more accountable future. The next chapter will explore blockchain in retail and consumer goods, focusing on sustainable sourcing, ethical production, and consumer engagement. Chapter 25. Retail and Consumer Goods. 25.1 Introduction. Retail and consumer goods are at the front line of sustainability challenges and opportunities. Consumers increasingly demand ethical, transparent, and eco-friendly products. Brands face scrutiny over greenwashing and unverifiable sustainability claims. Global retail generates massive waste streams, from packaging to unsold inventory. Complex supply chains make it difficult to ensure fair labor, sustainable sourcing, and compliance. Blockchain offers a trust layer that can connect producers, retailers, and consumers with verified sustainability information. 25.2 Challenges in retail and consumer goods. Opaque supply chains. Products like apparel, coffee, or cosmetics often pass through dozens of intermediaries, obscuring origins. Greenwashing. Brands make unverified claims, e.g., eco-friendly, carbon-neutral, undermining consumer trust. Counterfeit goods. Fake luxury goods and cosmetics pose health, safety, and ethical risks. Waste and returns. The fashion industry alone generates 92 million tons of textile waste annually. Packaging and plastics. Retail packaging contributes significantly to global plastic pollution. 25.3 Blockchain solutions. Supply chain transparency. Blockchain enables product traceability from farm or factory to shelf, allowing verification of sustainability claims. Digital product passports. Products can carry blockchain-based IDs with details on sourcing, carbon footprint, recyclability, and labor practices. Anti-counterfeit verification. Consumers can scan QR codes or NFC tags linked to blockchain to verify authenticity of luxury goods and health products. Waste and circularity tracking. Blockchain can track unsold goods, resale, refurbishment, or recycling, supporting circular business models. Consumer incentives. Retailers can offer blockchain-based loyalty tokens for sustainable purchases or recycling returns. 25.4 Case studies. Walmart and IBM Food Trust. Walmart uses blockchain to trace food origins, improving safety and sustainability of its supply chains. LVMH and Aura Blockchain Consortium. Luxury brands like Louis Vuitton and Cartier use blockchain for product authentication and provenance verification. Unilever and sustainable sourcing pilots. Unilever has tested blockchain to trace palm oil, tea, and other raw materials for ethical and sustainable sourcing. H&M and circular fashion blockchain. Fashion brands are piloting blockchain-based digital passports to track textile life cycles and enable circular retail. 25.5 Benefits of blockchain in retail and consumer goods. Trust. Consumers can verify sustainability and authenticity claims. Sustainability encourages brands to adopt circular and transparent practices. Fraud prevention reduces counterfeit risks in luxury, health, and safety-critical products. Consumer engagement. Loyalty tokens and digital product data enhance customer interaction. Regulatory compliance helps meet rising disclosure and ESG reporting requirements. 25.6 Challenges and barriers. Data integrity. Blockchain is only as reliable as the data input at the source. Adoption costs. Smaller retailers and suppliers may struggle to digitize supply chains. Consumer awareness. Many shoppers may not engage deeply with blockchain-enabled transparency. Fragmented standards. Competing blockchain platforms can create interoperability issues. 25.7 Future outlook. Mandatory product passports in the EU. By 2030, blockchain may underpin digital IDs for apparel, electronics, and packaging. Resale and circular marketplaces. Blockchain will expand secondhand and refurbishment ecosystems. NFT-based consumer goods. Digital twins for physical goods may unlock new engagement models. Personalized sustainability data. Consumers could see verified carbon and social impact data at checkout. 25.8 Conclusion. Retail and consumer goods are where sustainability narratives meet consumer expectations and purchasing power. Yet opaque supply chains, greenwashing, and counterfeit risks erode trust. Blockchain provides the transparency, accountability, and engagement tools needed to build a sustainable retail future, from digital product passports to loyalty incentives and circular economy tracking. As consumer awareness grows and regulations tighten, blockchain could become the default trust infrastructure for retail sustainability. The next chapter will explore blockchain in finance and investment, where the technology is transforming ESG reporting, sustainable finance, and green capital flows. Chapter 26. Finance and Investment. 26.1 Introduction. Finance is the lifeblood of sustainability transitions. Redirecting capital toward renewable energy, circular economy ventures, and low-carbon infrastructure is critical to achieving climate goals. The UN estimates that $4-6 trillion annually is needed for the green transition. ESG, environmental social governance, investing surpassed $35 trillion in assets globally by 2022. Yet sustainable finance faces trust gaps, with concerns about greenwashing, inconsistent ESG data, and unverifiable carbon credits. Blockchain has the potential to create transparent, tamper-proof, and standardized green finance ecosystems. 26.2 Challenges in sustainable finance. Greenwashing in investments. Funds often market themselves as green, without verifiable alignment to sustainability. Opaque ESG reporting. Companies self-report ESG data without independent verification. Carbon credit fraud. Weak oversight leads to double counting, phantom offsets, or low-quality credits. Capital access for SMEs. Small green innovators struggle to access financing due to lack of transparency and risk perception. Fragmented standards. Different regions and rating agencies apply inconsistent ESG methodologies. 26.3 Blockchain solutions. Green bonds and tokenization. Blockchain enables issuance of tokenized green bonds, improving traceability of capital use and lowering transaction costs. ESG data on blockchain. Verified ESG metrics can be recorded on blockchain, providing investors with transparent, auditable company data. Carbon credit verification. Blockchain can register, certify, and retire carbon credits securely, reducing fraud and double counting. Decentralized finance (DeFi) for green projects. DeFi platforms can channel global capital into renewable energy, reforestation, and clean tech startups. Impact-linked smart contracts. Investment contracts can trigger payments only when verifiable sustainability outcomes are achieved. 26.4 Case studies. World Bank's Bond I. The World Bank issued a blockchain-based bond, Bond I, to improve transparency and efficiency in debt financing. Vera and Toucan Carbon Bridge. Blockchain-based carbon markets like Toucan tokenize carbon credits, integrating with registries like Vera. Ant Group Green Finance Pilots. Ant Group has tested blockchain for ESG tracking in China's financial sector. Climate Ledger Initiative, a global collaboration exploring blockchain for transparent climate finance flows. 26.5 Benefits of blockchain in finance and investment. Trust, transparent, immutable ESG and carbon data. Efficiency, reduced transaction costs for green bonds and carbon trading. Access, expands capital flows to small and emerging market green projects. Standardization, creates verifiable global sustainability frameworks. Innovation, enables DeFi and tokenization for green finance. 26.6 Challenges and barriers. Regulatory uncertainty. Many financial regulators are cautious about blockchain-based finance. Market fragmentation. Competing platforms and standards risk siloed adoption. Data reliability. Blockchain still depends on verified inputs from ESG auditors and carbon registries. Volatility. Crypto-linked sustainability projects risk investor skepticism. 26.7 Future Outlook. Global ESG ledgers. By 2035, companies may be required to log ESG metrics on blockchain for compliance. Mainstream tokenized bonds. Green bonds may shift fully to blockchain issuance. High-integrity carbon markets. Blockchain could underpin a unified fraud-resistant carbon credit system. AI plus blockchain finance. Smart contracts may automate sustainability-linked investment decisions in real time. 26.8 Conclusion. Sustainable finance is essential for achieving climate goals, yet credibility challenges undermine its impact. Greenwashing, inconsistent ESG data, and fraudulent carbon credits erode investor confidence. Blockchain provides transparency, traceability, and accountability in sustainable finance. By enabling tokenized green bonds, verifiable ESG reporting, high-integrity carbon credits, and DeFi-driven green capital flows, blockchain could become the financial backbone of the green transition. The next chapter will examine blockchain in insurance and risk management, another critical enabler of resilience in a climate-constrained world. Chapter 27. Insurance and Risk Management. 27.1 Introduction. Insurance is a cornerstone of global resilience. It helps individuals, businesses, and governments recover from shocks, whether natural disasters, accidents, or systemic risks. Yet the sector faces unprecedented sustainability challenges. Climate change impacts. Global insured losses from climate-related disasters exceeded $120 billion in 2021 alone. Coverage gaps. 70% of catastrophe losses in emerging markets remain uninsured. Fraud and inefficiency. Billions are lost each year to fraudulent claims and slow manual verification processes. Sustainability integration. Insurers must increasingly assess ESG risks in underwriting and investment portfolios. Blockchain can enhance transparency, automation, and accountability in insurance and risk management, while expanding coverage to underserved populations. 27.2 Challenges in insurance and risk management. Climate-related losses. Rising frequency of floods, wildfires, and hurricanes strains insurers' capacity. Slow claims processing. Manual documentation creates delays in payouts when rapid recovery is critical. Fraudulent claims. Lack of secure data trails leads to costly fraud in health, auto, and disaster insurance. Coverage inequality. Vulnerable communities and smallholder farmers lack affordable, accessible insurance. Opaque ESG risk assessment. Insurers struggle to integrate sustainability metrics into pricing and risk modeling. 27.3 Blockchain solutions. Smart contract-based claims. Insurance policies can be coded as smart contracts, triggering automatic payouts when conditions, e.g., rainfall levels, flight cancellations, are met. Parametric insurance. Blockchain enables parametric models, payouts triggered by data events rather than damage assessment, ideal for climate risks. Fraud prevention. Immutable blockchain records reduce false claims, and ensure accurate verification of documents. Inclusive microinsurance. Blockchain lowers administrative costs, making microinsurance viable for farmers, low-income households, and small businesses. ESG-linked risk management. Blockchain-backed ESG data can inform insurers' underwriting and investment portfolios. 27.4 Case studies. EtherRisk and climate insurance. EtherRisk offers blockchain-based crop insurance, paying farmers automatically when drought or floods are detected via weather data. Lemonade Foundation and Crypto Climate Risk Pool. A blockchain-powered decentralized insurance pool for climate disasters in emerging markets. Aeon Blockchain Pilots. Aeon has tested blockchain for reinsurance contracts and claims automation. Allianz Parametric Flight Insurance. Allianz piloted blockchain flight delay insurance that pays customers instantly if flights are late. 27.5 Benefits of blockchain in insurance. Speed. Automatic payouts reduce delays in claims processing. Trust. Immutable records reduce fraud and disputes. Inclusivity. Affordable microinsurance expands to underserved populations. Resilience. Parametric insurance improves disaster recovery. Sustainability. ESG-linked underwriting incentivizes green practices. 27.6 Challenges and barriers. Data dependency. Accuracy depends on IoT, weather stations, and satellite data. Regulatory uncertainty. Insurance regulators may resist blockchain-based parametric models. Scalability. Global insurance markets require high-volume transaction capacity. Adoption costs. Smaller insurers may lack resources to digitize systems. 27.7 Future outlook. Global climate risk pools. Blockchain could support cooperative disaster insurance across nations. IoT plus satellite integration. Automated data feeds will power real-time parametric insurance. Tokenized insurance products. Policies may become tradable blockchain tokens, increasing liquidity. AI plus blockchain risk models. Machine learning can dynamically adjust blockchain contracts to evolving risks. 27.8 Conclusion. Insurance is vital for climate adaptation, disaster recovery, and financial stability. Yet current systems suffer from inefficiency, fraud, and inequitable access. Blockchain can deliver transparent claims, automated payouts, parametric insurance, and inclusive microinsurance, making insurance more resilient and accessible. When combined with IoT, AI, and global cooperation, blockchain could redefine insurance as a driver of sustainability and climate resilience. The next chapter will turn to public policy and governance, where blockchain can transform regulation, compliance, and international cooperation in building green supply chains. Chapter 28. Public Policy and Governance. 28.1 Introduction. Governments and regulators are key enablers of sustainability transitions. They design the policies, incentives, and compliance systems that guide industries toward greener practices. By 2030, over 130 countries aim to reach net zero or significant carbon reduction targets. Governments face pressure to enforce environmental laws, carbon pricing, and supply chain transparency. Yet policy enforcement suffers from fragmentation, corruption, and poor data reliability. Blockchain provides a tool for transparent governance, regulatory compliance, and international cooperation, helping align policy ambitions with verifiable outcomes. 28.2 Challenges in governance and policy. Data integrity gaps. Governments often rely on self-reported or unverifiable corporate sustainability data. Corruption and fraud. In some regions, subsidies, permits, and carbon credits are misused or misallocated. Fragmented regulations. Differing sustainability standards across countries create compliance burdens for global businesses. International coordination. Climate change requires collective action, but nations lack trusted systems for sharing data and progress. Citizen trust deficits. Green policies face skepticism when transparency is lacking. 28.3 Blockchain solutions. Transparent carbon registries. Governments can use blockchain to register, trade, and retire carbon credits, ensuring accuracy and preventing double counting. Digital environmental permits. Blockchain can digitize and automate the issuance, monitoring, and enforcement of environmental permits and licenses. Green subsidy distribution. Smart contracts can ensure subsidies for renewable energy or sustainable farming reach intended recipients without leakage. Compliance automation. Blockchain can automate reporting and verification of sustainability compliance, reducing bureaucratic inefficiencies. Public engagement platforms. Blockchain-based systems can allow citizens to verify government climate progress and participate in policy programs. 28.4 Case studies. Chile's Renewable Energy Blockchain Registry. Chile piloted blockchain for renewable energy certificate tracking to enhance credibility. China's carbon market blockchain pilots. China has explored blockchain-based carbon trading and emissions reporting in pilot programs. European Union Digital Product Passport plans. The EU is preparing blockchain-ready regulations requiring digital traceability for electronics, textiles, and other goods. United Nations blockchain initiatives. The UN has tested blockchain for humanitarian aid, carbon credits, and climate finance governance. 28.5 Benefits of blockchain in governance. Transparency. Publicly verifiable data reduces corruption and greenwashing. Efficiency. Cuts bureaucratic delays in compliance and reporting. Global alignment. Supports cross-border harmonization of climate policies. Trust. Enhances citizen confidence in government climate programs. Accountability. Ensures subsidies and permits are used as intended. 28.6 Challenges and barriers. Political resistance. Governments may resist technologies that reduce discretionary control. Privacy concerns. Balancing transparency with protection of sensitive corporate data is complex. Technical readiness. Public agencies often lack blockchain expertise. Global coordination. Achieving interoperability across jurisdictions remains difficult. 28.7 Future outlook. National blockchain registries. By 2035, most major economies could operate blockchain-based carbon and ESG data systems. Global Climate Blockchain Network. The UN or G20 of May sponsor a shared blockchain ledger for tracking national emissions and climate finance. Smart regulation. Policies encoded into smart contracts could enforce compliance automatically. Citizen blockchain engagement. Individuals may directly verify their government's climate actions via blockchain dashboards. 28.8 Conclusion. Public policy and governance are central to scaling sustainability. Yet fragmented regulations, unreliable data, and corruption hinder progress. Blockchain provides a pathway to transparent carbon markets, automated compliance, secure subsidy distribution, and global policy coordination. When adopted at national and international levels, blockchain can help governments bridge the trust gap between ambition and action. The next chapter will turn to global collaboration and multi-stakeholder partnerships, exploring how blockchain can unite businesses, governments, and NGOs in building sustainable supply chains. Chapter 29. Global Collaboration and Partnerships. 29.1 Introduction. Sustainability is a global challenge that requires collective action. No single company, government, or NGO can solve issues like climate change, deforestation, or ocean plastic pollution alone. Cross-border supply chains involve millions of actors, from raw material producers to retailers. International treaties and trade agreements often struggle with trust, verification, and enforcement. Collaborative projects between public, private, and nonprofit actors face coordination challenges and data silos. Blockchain, as a shared tamper-proof ledger, provides a platform for multi-stakeholder trust, transparency, and collaboration in building greener supply chains. 29.2 Challenges in global collaboration. Mistrust among stakeholders. Governments, corporations, and NGOs often doubt each other's data and commitments. Fragmented systems. Multiple tracking systems and standards make global coordination difficult. Greenwashing risks. Without verifiable proof, sustainability claims erode credibility in partnerships. Accountability gaps. International agreements often lack enforcement mechanisms. Equity concerns. Developing nations may feel excluded from decision-making and lack access to advanced digital tools. 29.3 Blockchain solutions. Shared sustainability ledgers. A global blockchain can act as a neutral trust layer for all stakeholders to log and verify sustainability actions. Transparent climate agreements. Blockchain can track national commitments, e.g., Paris Agreement pledges, with verifiable tamper-proof data. Multi-actor carbon markets. Blockchain ensures fairness in carbon trading between countries, companies, and NGOs. Aid and development programs. Smart contracts can ensure climate finance and aid reach intended communities without corruption. Open innovation ecosystems. Blockchain can support global collaboration in R&D for clean tech, circular economy solutions, and resource sharing. 29.4 Case studies. Climate Ledger Initiative. A UN-affiliated effort using blockchain to enhance transparency in climate action. World Wildlife Fund and OpenSC. Blockchain-based supply chain tracking to ensure sustainable sourcing of fish and palm oil across global markets. Global Shipping Blockchain Consortiums. Cross-company blockchain collaborations like TradeLens, Maersk, and IBM aim to bring transparency to global shipping. Energy Web Foundation. A non-profit blockchain alliance enabling cross-border collaboration in renewable energy and grid management. 29.5 Benefits of blockchain for global collaboration. Trust across borders. Immutable records reduce disputes and build confidence. Standardization. Shared protocols align sustainability data across industries and countries. Accountability. Climate pledges and corporate commitments become verifiable. Efficiency. Reduces redundant reporting and bureaucracy in international programs. Inclusivity. Small players and developing nations gain equal access to verified systems. 29.6 Challenges and barriers. Political will. Governments may resist ceding sovereignty to global blockchain systems. Interoperability. Different blockchain platforms need harmonization. Digital divide. Low-resource countries may struggle with adoption. Data ownership conflicts. Companies may hesitate to share proprietary supply chain data. 29.7 Future Outlook. UN Blockchain Climate Platform. A global registry for carbon, biodiversity, and sustainability data. Cross-border green trade agreements. Blockchain could serve as the compliance infrastructure for sustainable trade deals. Global circular economy networks. Shared ledgers could enable international reuse, recycling, and resource-sharing platforms. AI plus blockchain diplomacy. AI-driven analytics on blockchain data may enhance climate negotiation and enforcement. 29.8 Conclusion. Global sustainability challenges demand trust, transparency, and cooperation across nations, businesses, and civil society. Traditional systems of international governance often lack these qualities, leading to disputes, inefficiencies, and unfulfilled commitments. Blockchain offers a neutral, tamper-proof infrastructure for collaboration, enabling verifiable commitments, transparent carbon markets, secure aid distribution, and joint innovation ecosystems. By creating a shared trust foundation, blockchain can help align diverse actors toward the common goal of sustainable supply chains. The next chapter will explore blockchain in education and workforce development, highlighting its role in training, certification, and building the green skills needed for the future economy. Chapter 30. Education and workforce development. 30.1 Introduction. The green transition will reshape the global workforce. Millions of new jobs will be created in renewable energy, circular economy, sustainable agriculture, and low-carbon industries, but millions of old jobs will also be disrupted. The International Labor Organization, ILO, projects 24 million new green jobs by 2030. Yet skill gaps persist. Industries lack workers trained in renewable energy, sustainable supply chain management, and ESG reporting. Education systems face challenges in certification, transparency, and equitable access to training opportunities. Blockchain can serve as a trust layer for education and workforce development, ensuring transparent certifications, skill recognition, and global alignment on green competencies. 30.2 Challenges in green education and workforce development. Skill gaps in green sectors. Demand for skills in solar, wind, sustainable logistics, and carbon accounting far exceeds supply. Credential fraud. Fake diplomas and unverifiable certifications undermine trust in workforce qualifications. Fragmented standards. Lack of unified standards for green skills across countries complicates workforce mobility. Inequitable access. Developing regions often lack access to quality green education and training resources. Lifelong learning needs. Workers require constant reskilling as industries evolve toward sustainability. 30.3 Blockchain solutions. Digital diplomas and certificates. Blockchain-based academic and training records eliminate fraud and provide verifiable lifelong credentials. Global Green Skills Registry. A blockchain ledger can standardize and track green competencies across borders, supporting workforce mobility. Incentivized learning with tokens. Students and workers can earn blockchain-based tokens for completing sustainability courses or certifications. Micro-credentials and modular learning. Blockchain can store verifiable micro-credentials for short courses, workshops, and vocational training. Workforce development platforms. Decentralized learning platforms can connect employers, educators, and workers in building tailored green training pathways. 30.4 Case studies. MIT and Learning Machine Blockchain Diplomas. MIT piloted blockchain-based diplomas to combat credential fraud and improve transparency. Holberton School Blockchain Certificates. Coding schools use blockchain to issue tamper-proof digital diplomas for global recognition. UNESCO Blockchain for Education Pilots. UNESCO has tested blockchain to improve global recognition of academic qualifications. Green job training platforms. Emerging platforms are exploring blockchain-backed certifications for renewable energy, ESG auditing, and carbon management. 30.5 Benefits of blockchain in education and workforce. Trust in credentials. Immutable diplomas and certifications reduce fraud. Global recognition. Standardized blockchain registries enable cross-border workforce mobility. Accessibility. Decentralized platforms can deliver training to underserved communities. Incentives. Token-based systems reward continuous learning. Alignment with industry needs. Employers can directly verify skills and certifications. 30.6 Challenges and barriers. Institutional resistance. Universities and training centers may resist blockchain adoption. Interoperability. Different blockchain credential platforms may not align. Equity gaps. Digital divides may limit access in low-income regions. Data privacy. Sensitive student data must be protected while ensuring transparency. 30.7 Future Outlook. Global Green Skills Blockchain Ledger. A UN or ILO-backed registry could verify sustainability skills worldwide. Corporate blockchain training systems. Companies may adopt blockchain for internal sustainability training. AI-powered reskilling. AI could analyze labor market needs and recommend blockchain-certified training. Blockchain-enabled apprenticeships. Smart contracts could automate payments and certification for vocational programs. 30.8 Conclusion. Education and workforce development are critical to achieving sustainable supply chains. Without skilled workers, the green transition cannot succeed. Yet current systems struggle with fraud, fragmented standards, and unequal access. Blockchain offers a transparent, trusted, and global system for verifying credentials, standardizing green skills, incentivizing lifelong learning, and improving workforce mobility. By empowering individuals and institutions with verifiable knowledge, blockchain helps build the human foundation for a sustainable future. The next chapter will explore blockchain's integration with emerging technologies, AI, IoT, digital twins, and how these synergies amplify green supply chain innovation. Chapter 31. Blockchain and Emerging Technologies. 31.1 Introduction. Blockchain alone cannot solve the sustainability challenges of supply chains. Its true potential emerges when combined with other transformative technologies. Artificial intelligence, AI, for data analysis, predictions, and decision-making. Internet of Things, IoT, for real-time tracking of goods, emissions, and environmental conditions. Digital twins, for modeling and simulating supply chain operations. Big data and cloud computing, for scalable storage and global connectivity. Together, these technologies form a synergistic ecosystem that enhances transparency, efficiency, and sustainability. 31.2 Challenges without integration. Data silos. Blockchain ensures immutability, but without IoT, data inputs may remain incomplete or inaccurate. Limited predictive capabilities. Blockchain records past events, but AI is needed to forecast risks and optimize decisions. Lack of operational insights. Without digital twins, blockchain data lacks the simulation context for scenario planning. Scalability concerns. Large-scale supply chains require big data and cloud infrastructure for blockchain integration. 31.3 Blockchain plus IoT. IoT devices, sensors, GPS, RFID, capture real-time supply chain data, temperature, emissions, energy use. Blockchain ensures this data is tamper-proof and auditable. Applications. Cold chain monitoring for food and pharmaceuticals. Carbon tracking in transportation fleets. Smart meters in renewable energy grids. 31.4 Blockchain plus AI. AI analyzes blockchain stored data for patterns, optimization, and fraud detection. Smart contracts combined with AI enable autonomous decision-making in supply chains. Applications. Predicting demand and optimizing green logistics. Detecting anomalies in ESG reporting. Enhancing carbon credit quality verification. 31.5 Blockchain plus digital twins. Digital twins simulate supply chain operations. Blockchain ensures simulation inputs and outputs are verifiable. Applications. Testing the impact of sustainability policies on supply chains. Modeling renewable energy integration into logistics. Visualizing the carbon footprint of entire product life cycles. 31.6 Blockchain plus big data cloud. Blockchain provides trust and immutability, while big data systems handle volume and complexity. Cloud platforms allow global accessibility of blockchain-enabled sustainability solutions. Applications. Large-scale ESG data aggregation. Global carbon registry platforms. Retail consumer product passports. 31.7 Case studies. IBM Food Trust Blockchain plus IoT plus cloud. Combines blockchain with IoT sensors and cloud infrastructure to ensure food safety and sustainability. Siemens and digital twins. Siemens integrates blockchain with digital twins to model industrial energy systems. Ocean shipping blockchain with AI optimization. Pilots use blockchain plus AI for route optimization, reducing emissions in maritime transport. Smart renewable grids, blockchain plus IoT. Energy Web Foundation combines blockchain with IoT to manage decentralized renewable energy trading. 31.8 Benefits of integration. End-to-end transparency. IoT data plus blockchain verification ensures trusted monitoring. Predictive sustainability. AI turns blockchain records into future-oriented insights. Simulation and planning. Digital twins test strategies before real-world deployment. Scalability. Cloud and big data integration supports global supply chain systems. Innovation ecosystems. Combining technologies creates new business and collaboration models. 31.9 Challenges and risks. Data overload. Integrating IoT and big data with blockchain risks inefficiency. Privacy and security. More connected devices increase cyber vulnerabilities. High costs. Integration requires significant investments. Governance. Interoperability and ethical AI use remain unresolved issues. 31.10 Future outlook. Autonomous green supply chains. AI-driven supply chains verified by blockchain and powered by IoT. Global digital twin networks. Entire industries may run blockchain-verified twin simulations. Climate AI platforms. Blockchain will provide trusted data foundations for AI climate models. Hybrid ledgers. Integration of blockchain with advanced data systems for flexible performance. 31.11 Conclusion. Blockchain's role in sustainability becomes transformative when combined with AI, IoT, digital twins, and big data. Together, they create a transparent, predictive, and efficient ecosystem capable of driving deep decarbonization and resilience in global supply chains. The next chapter will explore risks, limitations, and ethical considerations of blockchain and green supply chains, ensuring that innovation remains aligned with equity, justice, and sustainability. Chapter 32. Risks, limitations, and ethical considerations. 32.1 Introduction. While blockchain offers transformative potential for sustainable supply chains, it is not a silver bullet. The technology faces technical, ethical, social, and environmental risks that must be addressed to avoid unintended consequences. This chapter critically examines blockchain's limitations and trade-offs in the context of green supply chains, ensuring that enthusiasm does not overshadow reality. 32.2 Technical risks and limitations. Scalability. Public blockchains often suffer from slow transaction speeds and limited throughput. Global supply chains involve billions of transactions, requiring efficiency. Interoperability. Multiple blockchain platforms exist, Ethereum, Hyperledger, Corda, creating silos. Lack of interoperability hampers global adoption. Data integrity. Blockchain ensures immutability, but does not guarantee data accuracy at the point of entry. Garbage in, garbage forever. Energy consumption. Proof of work. POW blockchains consume large amounts of energy, contradicting sustainability goals. Although proof of stake, POS, and green blockchains mitigate this, adoption is uneven. 32.3 Ethical and social risks. Digital divide. Low-income countries and small suppliers may lack access to blockchain infrastructure, risking exclusion. Equity in benefits. Large corporations may benefit disproportionately, while smallholders struggle to integrate. Data privacy. Immutable ledgers conflict with the right to be forgotten in data protection laws, e.g. GDPR. Worker surveillance. Real-time supply chain tracking could evolve into intrusive monitoring of workers, raising ethical concerns. 32.4 Governance and regulatory risks. Lack of standards. No global consensus on blockchain standards for sustainability, risking fragmentation. Regulatory uncertainty. Governments vary in their approach to blockchain regulation, creating compliance complexity. Accountability gaps. Smart contracts execute automatically but lack legal clarity in many jurisdictions. 32.5 Environmental risks. Hardware waste. Blockchain infrastructure requires servers and mining equipment, adding to e-waste. Carbon footprint. Energy-intensive blockchains, e.g. Bitcoin, can undermine green supply chain goals. Resource extraction. Blockchain hardware depends on metals and minerals, raising sustainability concerns in mining. 32.6 Ethical considerations in green supply chains. Justice and inclusion. Ensuring smallholder farmers, SMEs, and developing countries benefit equally. Consent and agency. Workers and communities must consent to their data being used. Avoiding techno-solutionism. Blockchain should complement, not replace, social, political, and institutional reforms. Transparency versus privacy balance. Sustainability demands openness, but personal and corporate privacy must be respected. 32.7 Case studies of risks in action. Bitcoin mining and environmental backlash. Criticism over energy-intensive POW mining has led to debates on blockchain sustainability. GDPR conflicts in Europe. Immutable blockchain records have clashed with privacy regulations, delaying adoption in the EU. Smallholder exclusion in traceability pilots. Some pilots showed that small farmers lack the digital tools needed to access blockchain systems. 32.8 Strategies to mitigate risks. Green blockchain protocols. Adoption of POS and energy-efficient systems. Hybrid approaches, combining blockchain with trusted third parties for sensitive data. Capacity building. Training and infrastructure support for developing countries and SMEs. Policy alignment. Harmonizing blockchain standards with climate, trade, and data protection policies. Ethical frameworks. Embedding human rights and equity principles into blockchain design. 32.9 Future outlook. By 2035, blockchain systems may adopt universal sustainability protocols, integrating energy efficiency and ethical safeguards. Regulators may create green blockchain certifications for platforms that meet sustainability and privacy standards. Global treaties could include digital ethics clauses to guide blockchain adoption in climate and supply chain policies. 32.10 Conclusion. Blockchain is a powerful but double-edged tool. Without careful governance, it risks reinforcing inequalities, consuming excessive resources, and raising ethical dilemmas. The path forward requires balancing innovation with responsibility, building green, inclusive, and ethically grounded blockchain systems that truly advance sustainability rather than undermine it. The next chapter will serve as the conclusion, synthesizing lessons from the book and offering a roadmap for blockchain's role in green supply chains. Chapter 33. Conclusion and Roadmap. 33.1 Introduction. Throughout this book, we have explored how blockchain can reshape global supply chains in pursuit of sustainability, transparency, and equity. From ensuring ethical sourcing and carbon tracking to enabling renewable energy trading and circular economy models, blockchain offers unprecedented opportunities. Yet the journey is complex. Blockchain is not a silver bullet. It requires integration with other technologies, supportive governance, and ethical safeguards to truly deliver on its promise. This final chapter synthesizes the key lessons, identifies critical pathways forward, and presents a roadmap for the future of blockchain and green supply chains. 33.2 Key lessons from the journey. Transparency is the core value. Blockchain's immutability provides trusted records that can combat greenwashing and strengthen accountability. Integration is essential. Blockchain alone is insufficient. Its power emerges when combined with IoT, AI, digital twins, and big data. Ethics and inclusion matter. Blockchain must serve smallholders, workers, and developing nations, not just large corporations. Governance is the glue. Standards, regulations, and global cooperation are required to ensure blockchain supports sustainability goals. Sustainability of blockchain itself. Energy-efficient consensus mechanisms and circular hardware practices are vital to align blockchain with green objectives. 33.3 Opportunities ahead. Product passports. Blockchain-enabled digital IDs for every product, tracking origin, carbon footprint, and recycling potential. Carbon markets. Transparent, fraud-resistant carbon credit systems with blockchain verification. Decentralized energy. Peer-to-peer renewable energy trading via blockchain smart contracts. Circular economy platforms. Tokenized incentives for recycling, reuse, and closed-loop manufacturing. Global Green Skills Registry. Blockchain-based credential verification for a green workforce. 33.4 Remaining challenges. Scalability. Adapting blockchain for billions of global supply chain interactions. Interoperability. Developing universal standards across blockchain ecosystems. Equity. Preventing exclusion of SMEs and low-income regions. Data accuracy. Ensuring inputs into blockchain are reliable and verified. Ethical governance. Balancing transparency with privacy and efficiency with fairness. 33.5 Roadmap for the future. Phase 1. Short-term 1 to 3 years. Pilot blockchain in targeted sustainability projects. Carbon tracking, ethical sourcing. Promote green blockchain protocols, proof-of-stake hybrid ledgers. Build multi-stakeholder alliances, governments, companies, NGOs. Phase 2. Medium-term 3 to 7 years. Develop global blockchain standards for supply chain sustainability. Expand blockchain integration with IoT, AI, and digital twins. Scale up blockchain-based carbon markets and product passports. Phase 3. Long-term 7 to 15 years. Establish universal blockchain platforms for global green trade. Implement blockchain-enabled, circular economy systems. Create a planetary sustainability ledger for carbon, water, energy, and biodiversity. 33.6 Vision for 2050. By mid-century, blockchain could underpin a fully transparent, circular, and climate-positive economy, where every product has a verifiable sustainability passport. Global trade operates on blockchain-secured ESG standards. Energy systems are decentralized, renewable, and blockchain-managed. Workers worldwide access blockchain-certified green skills training. Supply chains are no longer extractive, but regenerative, respecting people and the planet. 33.7 Final thoughts. Blockchain offers a paradigm shift from opaque, exploitative, and linear supply chains toward transparent, equitable, and circular systems. The transition is not guaranteed. It requires intentional design, ethical safeguards, inclusive governance, and technological innovation. If approached wisely, blockchain will not just track sustainability, it will enable it. The role of blockchain in green supply chains is not just about efficiency or technology. It is about redefining trust in the global economy and building a future where commerce and sustainability walk hand in hand.